There we go.
And we are live. Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back to Only Cops. And bro, Sean. I'm going to stop right now on our intro just because he, literally, I guess he made a comment early. Okay, never mind.
He was waiting for the stream.
Okay. You cheated. Boom, you get credit as the first comment of the live. So, welcome back to the channel. If you've come from TikTok, I appreciate it. Welcome to our podcast. This is our weekly Thursday podcast where we do body worn camera breakdowns and all that stuff. We go live twice a week, once on Tuesday for our Let's Plays, and then on our Thursdays like tonight. For this, I want to take a second to celebrate something. We have officially, as of February 24th, reached 1,000 subscribers. So shout out to everyone that helped and join us and get this accomplishment. I appreciate that. We're growing as a channel, and that's exciting. Kristen, Jesus, I love that. Kristen has won this week as far as account names. That's incredible. And then Chris for being early-ish. We're early if it makes you feel any better, Chris. We weren't on CPT time like we normally are, so welcome, Badge and Chris. And then Producer Juan celebrating our 1,000th episode. Anyways, thank you to everyone for that. We are now only less than 300 followers on TikTok. We've got to reach 50,000, and then we will do a giveaway. We got a couple stuff in the pipeline just to get the administrative stuff out of the way. We're also looking at doing, we don't have a name for them yet, but it's like first responder boxes. And so we're going to get like a really cool like IFAC put together. So it'll have like an Israeli bandage, nitrile gloves, chest seals, cool stuff like that. So we're going to put something together with that. Juan and I are currently working on that. And then we are looking at possibly developing training, whether it's de-escalation and stuff like that. There's some nonprofit conversations happening. We're doing stuff, boys and girls. So without further ado, we want to again thank Billiam, the Wonderful, for setting up our podcast again. He worked tirelessly all week to provide us with stuff to hopefully laugh at. If not, these are all going to be downers. And we're going to sit here and wallow in our post-policing trauma. But I will let Bill take it away here.
Yeah. Happy 1,000 subscriber day.
Yeah, happy to that. I'm pumped. That legitimately, like, we've been doing this, what, 7 months? Maybe 6? It's been a long time. I don't know. We've put out, I think, almost 80 videos on YouTube, and I don't even want to think about how many we've done on TikTok. And then that doesn't include, like, lives. I've spent collectively probably, I don't know, hundreds of hours in front of a camera, and then hundreds more hours behind the scenes planning stuff, and then producer Juan hundreds of more hours editing stuff to get this stuff out here for you guys. So we're excited that it's growing, and hopefully we can bring you guys some cooler content as we do. So
yeah, cooler content, because y'all are sick of us talking.
Yeah. Chris, when can we send super chats? I don't know. This is all.
I have no idea.
1,000 subscriber cherry pop for us, so we're trying to figure that out. Boom, can we get Bill Beard ASMR at 1.5k subscribers? Hey, you can probably get it right now, to be honest. Mine's kind of not thick enough to get ASMR. But I'll put on some nitrile gloves and rub his beard. I don't hear it.
Here, I'll rub it on the microphone. There you go.
I got a little action.
Just for you, Boom.
Said, hey, Boom, don't leave early this time, Sean. Jeez.
Okay, chat, calm down.
Wow. So hopefully Sean doesn't get me in trouble in the chat today. I read it like an idiot, like Anchorman. So if you guys have any questions that are hopefully law enforcement related, go ahead and put them in the chat below, and we will start to watch. We'll shout out to Mike the Cop.
So this is an old... I think we actually watched this in the academy. But this is an old clip.
Here.
What's the date on that? I'll have to plead guilty if I gotta work, because I can't take the court to take the day off. Damn asshole!
Jeez.
Now just give me the damn thing, let me get out of here. I did do nothing wrong, and I know I did. Now let me get the out of here. I ain't in no hurry, but I did want to get some kills for my dog. That's just about ready to get the out of here. Give me that.
Can I explain it to you, sir, so you'll know what you need to do?
I know what I do. You're ripping me off, and I didn't deserve it because I didn't do nothing wrong. You're probably sitting on parking lot driving right back and forth, get someone in the 40 miles of whatever frig it is. I never saw the sign. I saw it 55, and I was doing 57. That's all I know. And just give me the damn thing. Let me get out of here.
What I need you to do is sign the X so I can explain this to you.
There ain't no explaining. I got picked up for speeding before. You're guilty and you pay the fine and hope your insurance don't go up. And you try not to speed the next time. And that's what I've been trying to do for 4 or 5 years, and it's worked damn good till I run into you, you asshole.
Green copy's for your
according to
record,
Sean,
sir.
this is in
I
Maine.
don't, all right,
White copy needs to be mailed in within 20 days.
okay.
Make sure you read the...
I can't read, and I put this stuff away. I get bills in the mail all the time. I don't even look at
Can't read.
them. $7 glasses here. All right, just tell me what I do. Lincoln Court?
No.
Where?
Read the instructions here. This says you have 20 days to respond to this summons. Read the back of this hard copy. This will explain how you can have a trial if you want one.
Pause it. This is literally like
I love the accent.
he's being a bit of a troll at this point, but I will say
Well, he
this,
is a trooper, so.
at least he's not escalating the situation. To be fair, given how escalated this guy's being, I think what people don't realize is as much as there's been a push internally to humanize the badge, and that's to make people seem more like people, make officers seem more like people. But the way that body cameras have really changed law enforcement, and I think it's for the better, but the way that politics has changed the way that human interaction as a whole has kind of changed. This is the type of policing you're going to start getting, where they're just trained to be the most monotone, and to a certain extent, from a procedural justice standpoint, everyone should be treated equally under the law. But, like, I have seen a scenario where someone, like, this guy's having an acute mental episode here, but where someone's having, a panic attack or something, and the officer reacts like this, which doesn't help to do anything but further alienate the person you're dealing with.
When Josh says he's seen it, he's talking about me.
The instance I was thinking of wasn't you, but I'm pretty sure you have done that at least once.
Sometimes it's fun.
Sometimes it's fun, but try to be a little more human than that. That being said, I think he gets an A++ for not escalating it. I try to snatch the thing out of his hand.
See, if that would have happened to me, that's when I would have started trolling this guy.
Sure. And it's kind of different. Again, you get to kind of pick your interaction when it comes to police officers. That being said, I do have troopers are right alongside firefighters in my mind when it comes to this kind of stuff. You wouldn't believe the people I deal with, bro. I bet Maine is a weird place. Maine
just listen to their accents.
Manic break. Yeah, probably, Chris. Y'all a funny troll. Hilarious. Yeah, he's I don't know. At least he was trying to be professional, but it is a bit of a troll. We'll keep going. Police post. Shout out. Always providing
Suspect at the wheel of a
something.
large pickup. The deputies approach and order him to step out of the truck. He steps on the gas instead.
Oh, hell no.
Back out of the way! Everyone back out of the way! He's ramming cars! A sheriff's helicopter right overhead, capturing it all with its night vision camera. The wanted man is 44-year-old Dennis Mchugh.
He doesn't look like a criminal at all.
He looks like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hold on. Pause it. Domestic violence dispute, assault with a deadly weapon, and kidnapping.
Yeah.
I tell you how hard it is to get a warrant. Like, a lot of people think, like, oh, warrants. No, like, especially kidnapping, like, there's a lot you got to prove for that. To have a judge actually sign off on that.
I bet that was all one incident.
Yeah, I vote that. I'm surprised they don't have, like, aggravated. I guess it's the way the laws are there.
Yeah, I don't...
aggravated domestic.
I'm not sure where it's at, but...
Anyways, he looks
Domestic
like fun.
violence, assault with a deadly weapon, and kidnapping, and violating a restraining order. An officer knocked down a steep embankment with a rammed vehicle rolling over and landing on top of that officer. Even while pinned down, the officer able to fire his weapon at the pickup.
What an animal.
As other officers move in to try to free the trapped officer, the wanted man hits the gas again. And that's when other officers unleash a hail of gunfire at the fleeing truck.
Jeez.
Wow.
The trapped officer quickly freed and rushed to a local hospital. He's expected to make a full recovery. Officers found Dennis Mchugh dead inside his pickup.
Oh, they killed him.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, yeah, don't run over officers and think you'll be fine. The one thing, and the conversation currently right now, it's a hot button topic, is no-knock warrants. And I have a lot of heartburn about no-knock warrants. That being said, when you're at a certain place with somebody that's deciding that they don't want to go to jail, right? And they're pretty motivated to not do it, and they're willing to hurt or kill anyone to not do it. It's the one time that there's going to be forever a break between civilian mindset and what I would consider law enforcement or paramilitary mindset. Is like, I have to go take someone who's perfectly okay with killing me to jail. And there's nothing in the de-escalation handbook for those types of people. We saw, I don't know if we're going to cover it today, but last week we had a guy that like used a kid to lure officers in there. He ended up shooting like 9 officers with a handgun. It's not even like he had anything particularly Gucci. Like, it's not like he was even a particularly skilled gunman. He's just a dude with a gun. And so like it was the live I was talking about when people get a lot of heartburn about the potential militarization of police. There are people like this out there, and he's not like, his rap sheet's not rare. I'll be honest with you. I probably.
And that was just what he had warrants for. There's no telling what he's been convicted of.
Oh, sure. Well, and you got to imagine the amount of victims that actually didn't come forward probably triples that, if not more. And then the actual instances of him victimizing those victims probably astronomical for him to have gotten this far. And so I don't know. Raise your kids right, dude. And if you're friends, like, don't tolerate that kind of bullshit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Until you have to deal with someone that's got like that little give a fuck for human life, like, it's just a different ball game that I didn't fully understand as a civilian. Like, I'll be honest with you, prior to actually hitting the street, even when I was in police academy, I really thought I was going to be able to talk my way out of most. And I'm a very good, like, interacting individual. I'm very, sociable. I have very good communication skills. And like the first time I was like, this guy is perfectly okay with killing me. Then I realized, like, yep, there's nothing in the playbook for this guy, unfortunately, outside of being very good at your job.
Yeah.
That smells like a custody dispute. Yeah. Producer Juan, I think you're 100% right. And again, there's another instance where custody or just domestics, dude, in general, like people, I always, there's a big criticism about law enforcement being involved in domestic violence at a higher percentage. And I was like, no, dude. When a cop's involved in domestic violence, they go to jail. They lose their job. It's a big news story. Guarantee you, this man never made the news, not even once, until he tried to run over a cop.
Yeah.
And he was violently victimizing people. Like, y'all have no idea what that world looks like. With those types of people, overpower mental. I agree. Overpower them physically. Yeah. Note to self: don't attack cops if you want to live. Yes, Chris, that's a brilliant observation.
That's a good note. Should write that one down.
Yeah, I should write that one down, guys. Anybody that's watching, Josh is very good with the speakies and the verbosalities.
Just not reading.
Yeah, just not reading. What do you think about the battle going on in Russia-Ukraine? We will cover Russia-Ukraine at the end of this. I will hold that comment. Boom, do not let me forget. That means you can't leave. We'll try to hammer through these videos before I get into that. The little paper line targets, get him. Jesus. One, we'll keep going.
This is a video from Canada.
Oof. He has to get out now or we're going to drag you out. Okay. On out of the car. Do not touch that. Turn your vehicle off. Do it now. Turn your vehicle off. Do it now. The car, you're under arrest. Okay, I'm going out. Unlock the door. Do it now. It's too late. Too late. Too late. The vehicle, please. Under arrest. You can turn the vehicle. Let go. Let go. Just let go of your hands here.
Wow. Jeez. I wonder what the charge was.
So all I'm going to say is, had our department ever even come close telling us to do that,
oh no,
I would have quit on the spot.
So Yeah, dude. So, and I had a conversation about this on TikTok. Shout out to anyone that followed us from TikTok to here. On Tuesday, I talked about the difference in between city ordinances and emergency powers and things of that nature. And when you're trying to leverage law enforcement to enforce policy, not the law, I think there's a very big, ugly gray area where law enforcement can be abused by city politicians and mayors and stuff like that to enforce their will, not the law. And so I think it's a very muddy area. Specifically, luckily for us in America, there is a pretty robust document called the Constitution that kind of is supposed to protect you from these things. And when it's not observed, you'll see it a lot of times here on this channel that we talk shit about this. We're not to specifically shit on Canadian police. I've seen this happen in Chicago. I've seen it happen.
I'll shit all over U.S. police during the last 2 years.
Sure. There's been plenty of examples where I've seen it in New York, and I've seen it in a lot of places. Heck, there was a small town in Texas that we had issues with this, where they were shutting down gyms. I think it was like a sheriff's department. And I was like, what the fuck are we doing here? You're coming up there with an APC and SWAT to shut down a gym. Like, what are we doing here? So
gyms are dangerous, dude.
Yeah. So like, if you're going to utilize force to compel someone to do something, they better be committing a violent felony that everybody in society has voted and agreed on to write in a big book of laws is a violent felony that we want law enforcement intervening in a violent. That's all I'm saying. That's not an example of that. Let me look at the chat real quick. First to last should have been on the bro. Shout out to First to Last. Thank you for coming and following us here on. He said he was on TikTok. I did talk a lot about Ukraine on TikTok, so I'll try to have synopsis of that here at the end of this. Dude's driving a bootleg Mustang. He deserves to get Jesus, Sean. Here's Sean getting me in trouble for his. Let's see. Stuff going on in Canada is possibly the equivalent to what's going on here, if not slightly less. It just depends on where you're at. I think it's the biggest difference between a lot of other countries in America is your life experience around law enforcement and around cities is crazy different from one city to another. Even within the same state, you'd be amazed at how different the culture of how enforcement and private parties and private entities and citizens, how they look at personal rights and stuff like that. You'd be amazed at how different. We can't even agree on the Constitution from one state to the next. So, welcome First Last. Just welcome him. Thank you, Chad, for welcoming him. A lot going on in that first video. Yeah, there's a first video was don't run over officers. Literally in the military, we're supposed to enforce policy as law, which I think is shitty. To be the military, that is a bit of what you signed up for, which is kind of shitty. Hello to the bot that's here.
Boom said welcome, Mara.
Probably a Russian bot. Hey, stop invading Ukraine, Mara. Jesus. So anyways, we'll go to police post. Shout out always to the steady provider of camera footage.
They are heavy in our videos today.
Yes. It's an axon.
He attempted to make contact with an individual walking in the area. As he's getting out of his car, he immediately begins talking to the person, explaining the reason for the contact.
We're going with the Jungle Police Department. The reason I'm getting out with you, man, we're just doing a little bit of drug interdiction in the area. We're just trying to get to know people also. There's a little bit of community policing, okay? Do what?
As he approached closer, the officer detected a strong odor of marijuana. He told the subject this and instructed him to stop and talk to him. Prunty continued walking away faster, at which point Officer Obregon again gave the command for him to stop. Mr. Prunty did not stop and instead began to run.
Do what? Hey, come here. Come here. I can smell marijuana off you. Come here.
Oh, you're lying.
Come here.
You're lying.
Come here.
No.
Hey, come here.
Smell marijuana,
Come here.
What are
Come
you
here. I will
doing?
take. Come here.
No, you're
Come
making
here.
me nervous.
As he caught up to him, both the officer and the subject fell to the ground.
So what I'm going to get at, we just talked about this with reasonable suspicion versus probable cause here. And we talked about the totality of the circumstances, right? In TikTok, if you're coming from TikTok. So here specifically, and normally I'm not a reasonable suspicion kind of guy. Normally I'm a probable cause kind of guy. He treated this as a consensual contact when he met him. He didn't say he was detained. He didn't say anything, but he came out and said, I'm a police officer with so-and-so agency. We're out here doing drug interdiction. So he's there with a specific objective, right? As he got closer to him, he came out and said, I can smell marijuana on you. And I'm going to be honest, from the area that they're in, if you're smelling it, you're probably pretty close to it. In an open-air environment like that, I'm not saying you can't. I think if you go in enough apartment complexes, you could just smell like residual ones, but there's no cars around him. There's no other people walking around. It's still at the very minimum reasonable suspicion. I don't know if that goes to probable cause, but with the reasonable suspicion by itself, he could detain him. And at that point, unprovoked flight from a detention gives him the ability to go hands-on here. I actually think this is a pretty kosher stop, given how little he had when he started the interaction. And I'm glad that he articulated it out loud verbally that way, that was a consensual contact, which he wasn't consenting to, but in the middle of the guy saying that, he's like, wait a minute, like, bro, you smell a lot like weed, my dude.
Throughout this, the officer continued giving verbal commands as he was attempting to apprehend him, yet Mr. Prunty continues to choose not to comply.
On the ground.
Stop!
No.
Please.
Give me your hand.
No.
Give me your hand.
I can't.
Give me your hand.
I cannot, bro. I
Give me
didn't
your
do
hand.
nothing.
Give me your hand.
No.
Officer Obregon notified dispatch that he had a subject fighting and again instructs Mr. Prunty to yield his hands for cuffing.
I've got one fighting. Give me your hand.
No.
Quit reaching for whatever you're reaching for. Give me your hand.
Mr. Prunty was reaching for an object, and as Officer Obregon attempted to gain control of his hands, he perceived that he was holding a gun. The officer told him to release the weapon, and Mr. Prunty refused to do so.
Let go. Let go. I promise you, if that's a gun, it's not going to end well for you.
I know it's not.
Give me your hand.
Seconds later, the suspect fired a shot that hit Officer Obregon in the leg. Officer Obregon ends up on the ground on his side after that, at which point he was able to unholster his own weapon. Now knowing with a certainty that the suspect was armed, he returned fire, striking Mr. Prunty one time, which is consistent with the evidence located by the state police.
Jesus.
This man's shots fired. Shots fired.
Officer Obregon then notified dispatch that shots had been fired and both he and the suspect had been struck.
You can't hear.
You can hear the sound of him.
Oof. That's kind of what I want to say to that. Jesus, dude. Thought about getting there. So, actively resisted there. Now, and let me get to the chat real quick. I think Sean pointed out active resistance here, which is different than passive, like resistance. Passive resistance is just simply not, like technically him running is passive resistance in my personal, like you're doing, or no, I guess it's active resistance.
Passive resistance was him just laying on the ground.
Yeah. The second you start reaching for something and an officer's trying to get you to stop doing that, you keep doing it. And especially because he specifically articulated, like, hey, dude, like, if that's a gun, you're going to have a problem. Like, and he said, I know. Even if this guy wasn't armed, I'm going to be 100% honest with you, he's really opening himself up to the officer being able to justify using force on him. Shooting him in the leg, obviously, is what ended this dude's life. So, I mean, it's a kosher shoot. Don't shoot officers, and they probably won't shoot you.
Probably.
Said, I will say this, from the he had a top mount on this guy.
Yeah.
From the way his body came, look, this is actually a pretty well-trained officer that was trying to control. You can't control someone from getting a gun from their waistband. It's the one shit part that they don't teach you in jiu-jitsu is like, hey, if this guy's still got a holstered gun, you're still kind of fucked, regardless of how much jiu-jitsu you got. But yeah, that's a shit situation. He took a round to the leg for it. I guarantee you, somebody somewhere out there is going to be like, oh my god, he shouldn't have been. No, bro, this guy's actively walking around dealing with marijuana armed, which in Texas by itself is UCW. Actively resisted. He was given multiple chances to comply. Like, I'm gonna be honest, there's in a certain part of my career, I don't even know that I'm giving him that much, to be honest. I thought the officer did as good a job as you could have done, to be honest, in that situation, and the guy died for it. So Consensual contacts are the bread and butter of information gaining. I agree. Like I said, it's establishing reasonable suspicion with the smell, and then obviously once he starts running, is like the totality of me smelling it, him running, and so on and so forth, and me knowing that this is a high drug area. I think he had all the reason to go hands-on at that point. You should go over the body cam footage of what took place in Plano. The one kid walking during the snowstorm. If you can find it, put it. I think we did that one actually. I want to say we did that one. I don't remember. It was like a female officer, I think, and it was during the snow, and he was just walking home. I think we walked. If we can find it again, we'll try to do it again. Maybe just took the bad body odor. Jesus, Chris. Bro, I just smelt like a skunk. Don't hate the player. Jeez. Sean. Also noticed a change in the tone of his voice. I agree. There's a lot that goes on. That guy would re-attack you like...
Yeah.
DEFCON 1.
I'm with Sean, though. If I think that dude had a gun, I would have got up and backed away.
Sure.
Like, backpedaled from him.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have stayed there.
How do you feel about the 3 cops that just found guilty of violating Floyd's civil rights? I mean, if they violated his civil rights, he violated his civil rights. I'm perfectly fine with officers being, heck, multiple times within our own department, we had officers that were charged with misconduct, like criminally, not like they got just fired, they got charged. I think specifically in George Floyd's situation that that is a more complex story than a lot of people give it out to be. The instance that led to his death was a failure of the officer to provide aid to him, which is basically getting EMS there to go deal with him. He killed himself effectively. But the officer is responsible once he's in custody to take care of him. And I really think that's why they were able to even prosecute the charge. George Floyd himself, I think a better example of this is he was the kid in Dallas. His name is escaping me right now. Amber Geiger, I think, was the officer that shot him. He was just chilling in his own apartment, minding his own damn business, and she opens the door and shoots this guy. That's a better example, I think, of like egregious police misconduct where this is a guy legitimately minding his own business, not doing anything wrong. You even have an argument for, and it's why it turned out this way, Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, that he wasn't charged for shooting at the officers because it was a no-knock warrant. And
it wasn't.
What do you know what I mean?
It was not a no-knock warrant.
So there's certain instances like that where there's a gray area where I can see both sides of the fence. The issue specifically with George Floyd is that this was, I mean, this is probably like his 18th felony in progress that he's being taken into custody for, and it needs to be done procedurally correct. And we talked about this real early because this was a long time ago. We talked about this and that it's not the neon neck that everyone talks about, and it's not the, he's a racist cop and a piece of shit for doing any of these stuff. All of the above are irrelevant to the fact that he failed to act in his duty of making sure that he was being provided care. Even if they did that, I'm going to be honest with the amount of fentanyl he ingested, he was going to die. Unless he got Narcan like right then and there, that was a dead man standing there. It's just the way that tends to get it onto your body that it affects you. So I think a lot of people simplify that situation. And so like, if you can articulate a civil rights violation, it is what it is. I stopped following that the second I realized how political it was going to be. Mostly because
that whole trial.
Yeah,
sure. I mean,
this is what I mean. We saw the same thing with the Michael Brown case, is a very similar instance where they tried to make it out to be that this officer just randomly plucks this kid off the street and shoots him. And when they actually looked at the forensics of everything and saw that like he robbed a store prior to this, he committed a violent felony prior to this, is walking down the street and then assaults the police officer before he even gets out of the car, and like continued to try to assault him even after getting shot. Like it when you actually break these things down, the people refuse to separate the politics around it, as opposed to looking at it. We are forced to be procedurally just in the law enforcement community, but the politics is not. There is zero repercussions for saying whatever the hell you want to say when it comes to a specific court case. What's going to start coming out recently is going to be the Kyle Rittenhouse situation. You'll start to see, at the very least civilly, that some people will be held maybe somewhat accountable for not being procedurally just in how they talk about these specific things. That's, I guess, my 2 cents on that. Officers had the knee in the same place in mine. I've had my knee. Someone put a knee on my neck. Not to be like Crowder, who like straight up like got in that position for a certain amount of time. That's a little egregious, and I think a little too on the nose. But I don't think he died from positional asphyxiation, which is what was alleged. Boom.
I mean, it's hard to say that he was asphyxiated when he was yelling the whole time.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like that, there's no. And again, you can look at the coroner report. That'll kind of illuminate a lot of that. So, I don't know that that's a civil rights violation. Oh yes, the mythic hands that don't go up. Yes, the mythic hands. Josh for Texas AG. Jesus. Don't fight, which can't handle the heat. Jesus, first and last. I've been very close to Kadosha. I really hope he sees the fuck out of the celebrities. I
He's
would
already
just
starting.
Yeah, I would just like to see, like I said, just people being, especially people in power. You got to think like news agencies and things of that nature. A celebrity is what it is, and they're stupid, and nobody should be listening to them anyways. But if they're going to go out of their way to try and do it, be held accountable. People get held accountable.
100%.
But specifically, like news agencies, I think was the most egregious part of it, because you're perpetuating that as fact, and like if your job is to be a fact finder and you're bastardizing that, like, you know what I mean? I don't take the like uneducated basketball player's perspective on anything. Whether they agree.
You mean
with
the
me
guy
or not.
who has the same book in his hand for like 15 interviews, but
Sure, that's
can't
what
answer any questions about the book?
Yeah, so that's kind of what
Yeah,
I'm getting
that
at. Like
guy.
it's a. I don't think that they're looked at as, if you're looking at them as a fact finder, you're the idiot, not everyone else. But if you can show the damages caused from that, civilly, like, bro, civil court's a shady place, dude. Like, civil court's a super shady place. I would be very careful about
Especially
that.
when you're a celebrity and you just want to
Sure.
avoid it.
Sure.
Have fun
And
with
so
that.
I think that if you put yourself in that environment, and I mean, technically, Bill and I put ourselves in this conversation, but we're able to do that from an educated perspective. And most of this is not designed to just sit and criticize. It's to sit there and say, this is why it's bad, or this is why it's good, not just that it's good or bad. You'll see that we always try to glean something relatively educational out of that. So, on to the next one. Pro LeBron knows more than you. Just Sean. Oh, hey, hello to the other Russian probe here. Stop invading Ukraine. Anyways, we keep going. Mike the cop.
How the fuck do you know my name? 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 What are you gonna do, shoot me? What are you gonna do, shoot me? Shoot the fuck off me. What are you gonna do, shoot me? What are you gonna do, shoot me? Huh? What are you gonna do,
Hey,
shoot
crack
me?
kills, kid.
Shoot me. Shoot me. Shoot me. Shoot me. Stop. Shoot me. Sit down. Shoot me. Sit down. Shoot me.
Bro, my guy.
Shoot me, motherfucker! Shoot! Shoot! Shoot me, motherfucker! Shoot me! Shoot me right in the fucking head! Shoot me right in the fucking head!
Hey, my guy, for top mount, my dude, killing the game right now.
You wanna shoot
Look
me,
at her helping.
motherfucker?
Hey,
Trying
actually
to
wasn't
help.
bad empty. That wasn't actually terrible empty hand skills. Given the space that they were in, that was kind of
He
a
did-
sucky place.
He did pretty well for
Yeah.
how that ended up.
I will say this. Yelling at somebody's probably not the greatest de-escalation tactic, especially if they're already kind of riled up there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say a taser was the best solution here, but given how thin his t-shirt was, it was a possible option. But I really do think he took the best option, and that was to go hands-on. To be honest, he waited till he had a back, which is a genius idea. And when she got there, she didn't really have a ton of. He did a great job of getting top mount there. It
Yeah.
was fucking awesome. Shout out to that guy. Having someone that amped up yell, "Shoot me, shoot me, shoot!" Seriously, we've talked about this I don't know, ad nauseum at this point. I probably personally had it happen no less than 20 or 30 times. Like that combative.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're going to go hands on, whatever, and they're yelling, shoot me the whole time. In my dictatorship, if you yell it, it's permission. Like, I swear, dude. For every time. And I'm like, bro, it's not what we're here for, my guy. Like, but for it'll keep people from stop doing that. It drives me nuts.
Maybe.
Every single time. I don't know. Either ways. It pisses me off every time I see it. Mostly because I've experienced it, and it's super frustrating to experience in person. Because it'll be like a PI arrest. Or not even that, because you don't even want to take the guy to jail. It's like, dude, get a ride.
Yeah.
You have a phone.
That's the worst.
You have a credit card. I will let you get in an Uber at this point. Because I don't want to take you to jail. Or I'll drive you down the street if it's not far. And he's like, I live in Arkansas. I'm like, cool. So I can't drive you to Arkansas. He's like, well, get me a hotel room. I was like, sure. I'm going to pay $200 so you don't go to jail. Like, no, get out of here with that. Like, you don't have any friends? I punched my friend. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So they left you here because you got drunk and you fought your friends. Like, cool. I'm gonna act like I didn't hear that other part with the punching thing because I don't want to investigate that.
Hey, no victim, no crime.
And then you're there trying to do a PI arrest, and it's literally you've given them every option, and then the second they realize they're going to jail, it plays out the exact way I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's like a school for being a resistant drunk person.
Asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's got to be a school. There's like a Karen school for being a pain in the ass, and there's
Yeah, you get like an online certification for it.
Yeah.
So.
He's been ordained as a drunk, argumentative, and combative asshole. He's fucking doctorate's degree in that. Juan, you're up. Pepper spray, Jesus. Sean, I agree. Tasers do not work. There's the one instance I've seen so far where it would have made some sense. I think if I had 3 officers there, I would have at least tried taser. I'm out of shape to fight an emotional person. You want to get shot? Say. Why do I read these comments? I need a pre-read. Jeez. Kill for what you wish for, but yeah, I'm with you, man. Ask for stupid things, receive stupid things. We'll keep going. Which one? Who did this one?
I think it's Cop Humor. Yeah.
Shout out to Cop Humor. Oh, that's a new one. I haven't seen this one.
¡Súbete atrás!
Razor my people.
¡Agáchate!
Wait for it.
De volar, agáchate!
Get up, dude.
Get up.
Oh my god.
Hey, it's innovative at least.
They didn't have to escalate force?
No.
They didn't. You know what?
They got right in.
Game respects game. Like, that is probably the most amazing thing I've seen all day. Modern problems require modern solutions.
I'm saying.
Roy Boy, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for joining us. It's just to give everybody a lowdown, and I'm like 0.5 Hispanic. I'm 100% ethnically speaking, but I don't speak the language. Producer Juan, he earned his citizenship the hard way. He had to earn it. He's way more educated than all of us.
Yeah, he wasn't born in Hawaii.
Exactly. I mysteriously showed up in this country and somehow have citizenship. Juan earned it like a respectable adult. But the reason this process exists is because we have criminals, and criminals have to get documented. And so I don't have an issue with immigration. I have an issue with illegal immigration. And so I really think the immigration process should be simpler. As long as you're willing to provide fingerprints and, I don't know, like a DNA sample or some shit. Pay a small fine, because obviously there's going to be some paperwork involved with that. Give them a visa or their driver's. I don't care about having an influx of people. I just need to make sure I can document them. I will say this from somebody that has related to people that have had to immigrate and get paperwork. It's expensive, and it is really complicated. That being said, we are actually one of the most liberal countries at letting people in and letting people try to become a citizen in like any other country. It's a real pain in the ass, and they'll deny you for being old. Like I think in Australia, you can't become a citizen after the age of 30.
Who
Like,
would
you
want to
just
be a
won't let
citizen
you.
of Australia anyway?
I'm with you, but it's pretty interesting. So I do think that there's some work to be done on that end. However, I have zero sympathy for people being picked up by INS, to be 100% honest. So we'll keep going. My guy. Wowie, wowie, wow.
Got him.
It never happened. But when it does, it's beautiful. Where he stopped, too, he was like, wait a minute, what did I just see?
Well, the dude screwed up to begin with because he double parked.
Yeah, what an idiot. And why steal? I don't know, dude. I don't like, especially for some beer. Like,
Yeah, I don't know, man.
if he's trying to feed his kids or whatever, maybe that'd be different. But I don't think his kids need a 24-pack of.
He needs it for his kids.
He needs it. He needs it for his kids.
Yeah. All
And
12
as
of
much
them.
as people will get heartburn about stuff like shoplifting, like I shit you not, this is the same dad's gonna go home and beat his wife. Like,
100%.
1,000%. Anyways. My guy. Well, he's on that thing, bareback, on a
Yeah.
donkey. I can honestly say I've never done this.
Me either.
Oh, you know what? I take that back. I played donkey ball in high school. We had a challenge my senior year, and you play basketball while riding donkeys. And it went about as well as it sounds.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
But that is the only time I've actually I have ridden a donkey, but I never as in a police capacity. That's pretty wild. Let's see that birth certificate, Josh. You'll get it out of my cold dead fingers. True story though, it did take me 8 months to get my birth certificate when a tornado took it, and my police department wouldn't give me their copy. I swam here like a boss, producer Juan. Jeez.
That's the real reason that Josh quit.
It is. That is. I wasn't an actual citizen, so shame on you to my old department for not doing a thorough enough background check. They took my penciled in. The same thing with my degree from UNT. I just drew it.
Drew it.
They accepted that. Juan beat the Coast Guard. Swims faster than Phil. Sean, you're about to be in timeout. You on a donkey checks out. Jesus. Post. Shout out.
That's how we got here.
That's how I got here on a donkey.
You broke out here, man. Straight up, man. You fuck these catch up, man. You fuck these catch up, man. This shit don't stop, man. This shit don't stop, man. Hold on, man. Hold on, man. This shit don't stop, man. This shit don't. Hold on. Man.
Someone should tell him to pull his pants up. They're falling down.
This shit don't stop, man.
He wants to make sure the boyfriend knows. He's DTF.
Man, this shit don't stop, man. We got this shit, man. This shit don't stop, man. Shit don't stop, man. It's the first of the month.
He talks about as good as you read.
It's true. Maybe
What?
Hold that. Get in here. Alright, roll back. Roll it. I'm short room, y'all keep pushing.
What an unlucky day.
Wow. Hey, man. That is going to be seized, my dude.
All of it.
Jeez. Dudes, just caving in. Sean's here. Sean's here in force today. As a valuable member of the Only Cups. Yes. I don't know where I'd be. I don't know where my morale would be. Sean is the pizza party I never had. Police post. Shout out to police post.
I'm telling you, bro. They really gave us some good shit.
They did, yeah. They really do. Oof. Big oof. Christ, dude.
You're hit! Shots fired! I'll give you help! You're good? I'm hit. I'm hit. Anyway, he's hit! 329. You are a local officer.
Let's go ahead and help your buddy here. Shout out for none of them dying there, and by none of them I mean the important people that are not. So some training tips here. Notice how the second guy or the third guy came out from ahead of the wall. Shout out to him for trying to run ahead of this guy, but that is the one time in a foot chase where it gets shady is if the dude is armed, because that would have been a really shit crossfire situation.
Yeah.
You also noticed that the officers were kind of like at extreme ends of the alleyway. That's actually really smart because you make the assailant pick a person, basically. Also, when we can have a conversation about room clearing tactics, it's kind of the reason why once you make entry, you get the hell out of the doorway. It's the fatal funnel. But you typically will pick opposite situations. So if the suspect is having to track the first guy with a gun, the second guy in the door, even if he manages to kill the first guy, the second guy can at least get him. It's kind of a morbid conversation we have to have when dealing with people with spicy devices. But
spicy devices.
It's actually pretty good. These guys were. It was weird when he came out. It was weird. It almost looked like he had a malfunction, or he was like Israeli carry because he had to like rack his gun, which was weird.
Yeah. He might have had a malfunction from falling.
Sure, or something like that, or like coming out of the holster weird. Or R.I.P. We had Serpa holsters. Just falling and trying to draw your gun at the same time would have been a death wish, anyways. And I want to make a quote. I think it was from a sheriff. I don't remember if it was a sheriff or not, but you cannot kill evil enough. And shout out, I won't complain about how many times I shot that guy. Again, I don't know which more you expect out of an officer. He's already gotten shot at. The guy was already running. I mean, at that point, I wouldn't care if an A10 went and vaporized the guy at that point. So
the officer should have used this technique.
That's where it is here.
Shoot if I move. Okay, yeah. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, you couldn't do shit. Yeah, if it tells me what that shit you was fucking nigga. Oh, you was gonna do what when you see me, nigga?
Whoa! Relax! What you doing? You in heaven, my boy. No. You got killed. No, man. I was with him too. Man, what you?
Detroit runs novel training. They skip their training, and that's what happens. That'll get you killed. Always come to training.
Here he go.
What you doing here?
Here he go. Where he come?
You didn't come to training. You didn't come to training.
Man, you never.
You gotta come to
we
training.
did what you told us to do.
You can't skip training.
Man, hell
Never
no.
skip.
I will say this. I shout out to that guy for participating and memeing himself. I can respect that.
He
As
knows
dumb as
it's
that
making
guy
him
is,
money.
Hey, man. I'm about that life. First Last said, yeah, that third cop was in a shit spot. I agree. That guy was... that being said, I had... this was... you remember where Steinmart was? On Northside?
Mm-hmm.
That little shopping complex.
Yeah.
I was still in field training, and we had a classmate that was a Marine, a very dumb. He was why they talked about crown eating and stuff like that. He's dumber than a bag of hammers. So, anyways, we went nose to nose with a potential shooting suspect. I was still in field training with my favorite PTO. Anyways, when we went,
he was on Northside with you.
He was, yeah. He trained on Northside.
Huh.
He went to Eastside. So anyways, we went nose to nose, and we made first contact with these people. It was a Silver Avenger. I'll never forget this. This is the first time I really thought like I was gonna. This was like a week and a half before Crossbow Guys. This is how bad my field training. I was a good field training experience, but that was way more use of forces than I wanted to do in that amount of time with the little police experience I had. So we go nose to nose with the guy. So of course we immediately bail out of the car, thinking that we're about to get shot at, because the call text was she was waving a gun at everybody in this like parking lot. And we draw down, and as I'm aiming at the car, I see old boy running from behind the Steinmart, like, right in my backstop, and I was like, cool. I guess I'm getting shot today because I can't, Last thing I need is to go and nail an officer, and his PTO was with him and like had to pull him by the ear to get out of our backstop. There was a lot of yelling of the term crossfire. And after him, my new backstop was like an Olive Garden. and an interstate highway. So fortunately, she had a little Smith & Wesson bodyguard, as a little .38, and she complied, and ended up being a bunch of nothing. But I have seen that IRL, and yeah, it was a weird deal. Don't be that guy. Don't become the backstop. Avoid the backstop. Bro, I want to give a special shout out to Lisa Gonzalez for showing up. It has been a long time, Lisa. I appreciate you making it here. Had a day off, so I had the best sleep of my life. I am happy to see you here. I miss Steinmart. But apparently producer Juan had a thing for Steinmart, and Brazil has all of the polo. I don't know if that's a joke or if that's a Brazil store. I wish I wore my body cam. So
Brazil's a country.
Content. Yeah. I have a few. I'm going to see how I approach. I do have some of the body cam that I recorded from my days on patrol. This might be a Patreon only thing. We'll see what we do with that. I'd have to omit some stuff as far as report numbers and stuff like that. But
yeah, I don't know about that, dude.
Yeah, that's a pretty slippery slope. But at the very least, I can draw diagrams, so we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll keep going.
More from police posts.
Hey.
Do me a favor. Come over here.
This guy's tremendous.
Don't place your hands behind your back. What? Stay. Place your hands.
Oh. Oh. Oh, the taser worked.
I got him. Keep the taser on.
Bro, he straight drugged him.
Yeah.
No. Bro, did they pull a gun out for him?
Yes.
Oh. Jesus, dude. Okay, I'm sure police posts, because they typically do a pretty good job of breaking this down, but without reading from police posts, once there's a gun involved, whether he's pointing it at you or not pointing at you, if he is resisting in any way, shape, or form and has a gun in his hand, your brain should tell you that that is a deadly situation and that it should be addressed as a deadly situation. Taser actually worked for once in this, and that was through his hoodie, which is pretty impressive.
Worked-ish.
Worked, air quotes, yeah. It accomplished what it's designed to do, right?
They couldn't get it to work enough to,
you know. I'm with these guys on that. Normally, you would think to yourself, well, you got him on the ground, take top mount. Bro, if this guy's got a gun or there's a gun anywhere near there, I'm feeling not great about taking top mount on a guy. I'm all about them disengaging. But if you're going to disengage and you're going to get in this situation, this is a gun situation. This is not a taser. This stops being even a hands-on situation, to be 100% honest, unless you're very, 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 very competent that you can leg sweep this guy into next week and control him. That is what we call a spicy situation. So I would. That's a shoot 'em kind of deal. And I won't apologize for that. Let's see. Have you ever seen pics or vids from Brazil? They always got polo shirts on.
It's true.
You know what? You're not wrong.
It's true.
You are not wrong. Why are they standing on the kill zone on the highway? Yeah, dude, highways are pretty cancerous. Let me arrest you between the cars on the highway. Yeah. Oh, and also, like, when it comes to, like, handcuffing somebody or putting someone in a handcuffing position, if you're gonna go and put cuffs on somebody, both of you need to be touching. I think ASP even covers this. I would just like the baseline training for handcuffing. Handcuffing procedures, hey, control both of his arms and then try to handcuff them. If you can't control both of his arms, you're not handcuffing, you're fighting. If you can't control both of his arms and he's reaching for something, you're not fighting, you're shooting. I think that's really the way that evaluation should work. So yeah, it's media has completely brain fucked society into what use of force is or what it should look like. Because honestly, armed or not, I have seen people armed. I have taken people into jail with body armor and rifles and not had any issue. But the second they weren't compliant, bro, it was about to be Fallujah up in that alleyway. Like it's just not. If you don't want to get shot, comply. It's really the easiest way to do it. Or stay in your house and don't do anything. Drug. That being said, like the second you start resisting, you're really asking the officer to do a lot to not be punching or body slamming or whatever. You're asking a lot of the officers. Then I wouldn't want to roll the dice because you don't know who's trying to arrest you. Mike the cop. He says
This time I have ever been pulled over, and you were so respectful and so nice. You came over, you were communicated what you needed, and then you were hot. See, if the police department should hire more hot police officers, we wouldn't have violence anymore. Because all you would do is do what you did, just walk over and say, hey, let me see your driver's license and ID, and do that smile right there.
Her shot.
Sir, you could bring peace to the Middle East. And I just want you to know, as I thoroughly watch you walk to your car and back, I just want to know, I could tell you work out, and I'm glad and I'm appreciate that God helped you to work out. He did a great job on you. Yes.
Well, I appreciate that.
You have a brother?
Very nice meeting you.
I have seen Bill get complimented like this by a crackhead before. Totally happened. I was like, bro, this lady wants you to be her baby daddy here.
It happened more than I would like to admit.
It is. I watched it in person. I was like, bro, she is feeling you, my dude.
Yeah.
This lady seemed really put together. She was really nice. The person that hit on Bill, unfortunately, was not.
They never were.
They
Ever.
never were. This guy got this. He was lucky. He got to have a nice, respectable lady hit on him.
Yeah.
Bill's probably had things living inside of her, and around her, and in her hair.
Yeah.
We did not work in a nice place.
No,
there
not
was
at
nice
all.
places there. We shouldn't spend any time there.
There were some nice places.
There were some nice places there.
We never got to experience that,
Hey,
though.
shout out to the Hilton.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
a safe place where I could go take a deuce.
Well, it was until there was that hurricane and they bust all those people in. Then it wasn't so nice.
Forgot about that. That was the worst 2 months of my life.
Yeah.
I had nowhere to poop.
Yeah.
It's a bad place on patrol, dude. I would have to do it at the QT with my rifle slung.
just
police
pointed at the door, just waiting.
Yeah. I learned how to hold it with all my shoulders so I can wipe with my offhand,
Yeah. Jeez.
I'll do a demonstration for you guys.
On Patreon only.
On Patreon only, baby. How to go to the bathroom at QT.
Oh, boy.
Ghetto.
Oh boy.
Drop some carrots in the chat. I wonder why. She's used for harassment.
She's a badge
it's for
bunny,
the
dude.
Badge bunny, bro. Sean's on it today.
She's a badge bunny.
Bill is the woman magnet. I will say that. Gotta add more porta potties to patrol kits. Well, like little buckets, like the little deployable buckets.
Yes.
With, like a seat on them.
Like the shiwi, but for
but
poop.
pooping.
Yeah.
We're gonna invent that. That'll be a rectal shiwi. Got randomly kinky here.
Poop patrol.
Anyways, poop patrol. Anyways, shout out to Police Post once again. They're on
Another vehicle. 10-4 into another vehicle. We'll get medics rolling.
That's a write-up.
That works.
That's a write-up for sure, dude. R.I.P. That's an Elantra, yeah.
Put your hands up!
Bro, my girl!
Hands up! Put your hands up! Go! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
I'm on the ground.
I got him! Hands behind your back!
I'm on the ground. I'm sorry, man.
So pause it. Shout out to that officer for not screwing up. Every time I see handcuffing happen here, they always put him on backwards or like upside down. And
Yeah.
fix it. Shout out to her for that. I like the spirit here. I really do. Like, shout out to this chick for getting out of the car and getting after it. But woof, that is a good way to get shot.
100%.
That's my only caveat here. She did have backup, so I kind of understand her approach here. But if you have an unknown area like that, you already have aggravated assault with them hitting this vehicle in front of them. This is a pursuit, right? Vehicle pursuit. That's fleeing in a vehicle or evading in a vehicle is going to be a felony, at least in Texas. That being said, I like this comment here. She has exceptional command presence, bro.
I like this one.
Yeah. No fear. How many? Yeah, I agree.
We worked with quite a few cops who would not handle that well.
No. There was no... She knew exactly what she was there to do, and she handled up.
We worked with cops who had been cops longer than us and still sounded scared to death on the radio.
Dude, we had this was like... I was still on C shift, so this must have been like 2019. And we had a shooting at the normal suspect apartment, and you know where it's at in the 40s.
Yeah.
And we had, this was a senior officer of like 12 years, grown ass man.
Yeah.
And this guy had gotten shot. He got hit a few times, like in the thoracic area, but I don't think any of this was like fatal per se. And we had a rookie, like fresh out of it, and a rookie. I was like 12 months into you know, I just got off of probation. But we had a guy that had just come out of field training that sees what he has and sees that there's some injuries near where the lungs could be and goes to apply a chest seal. And he's asking this officer to move. This officer starts giving a conscious man chest compressions. And he's like, yeah, but just let me put on the... And he told that officer to shut the fuck up and leave. And he's a senior officer. I mean, who's going to argue with him?
I would have.
But, I'm with you. Yeah, it's a little bit, but like this poor guy, this is a great officer, and he's still, I think, on the streets now. I think he went to Southside.
I was also an adult when we were police.
Yeah, I was also another grown ass man. You know what I mean? And he walked up to me afterwards, and he's like, "I'm not a medical professional. Do we give chest compressions to a conscious person?" And I was like, "No." You also don't give chest compressions.
I mean, if you want to pump more blood out, sure.
Sure. Well, and also this guy had like gunshot wounds.
Yeah.
But, like,
pump it out the holes.
It's a very senior officer, and like if you have not in the city that I worked in, if you were not making scene on a shooting like quarterly, like as it's like your call, you were not working, like you were on the desk or something, and even on the desk you weren't safe. Like it was pretty high likelihood. Again, they had a fun nickname for our city, specifically our side of town. There's a grown ass man. I think he was a training officer too, and he completely lost his shit. And I was like, bro, this is like my 4th shooting, and I'm only a year into it. You had to have worked hundreds of these, and he reacted very poorly.
Or you just avoided all of them, and you just ended up on this one.
That's honestly what it was. He ended up on that one, but she killed it. Shout out to that chick. Give her props.
Yeah.
It's not a randomly kinky... Sean, what are we doing here? Roy Boy, silly car bonks. Yeah, the car hits... It would have been right up for sure on us. We weren't allowed to ram vehicles. That being said, I think if you're now in a deadly situation, you hit the car, dude. They already hit somebody and they're still going. I'd flip that car and catch it on fire for all I care, to be honest. Just got some Whataburger. Boom. Enjoying... Texas gift to the universe in Whataburger. Did y'all ever watch that one cop that yells at the ground at the dude hanging off a bridge? Yeah, do we have that one on here? There's a fleeing guy. His car, he like wrecks out, and the guy yells at him to get on the ground when he's on the other side of a barricade on a bridge. So the guy jumps off the bridge. Did we do that last week?
I don't know. That sounds familiar, but I don't remember.
Passenger side approach would have been the best move in my option. Sean, I don't disagree here. The problem is also with all the smoke in the car from the airbags. It has just been hard to see anything. I honestly probably wouldn't feel great about approaching.
Yeah, I would try and felony take down that car.
I'm probably calling out to that car from my vehicle. And if he runs, get back in your car.
But that's not a knock on her.
No, she handled up at the end of the day.
That dude was clearly out to hurt other people. So
so she handled up and made sure that it was only her that was going to be in danger. And I think she did the brave thing, and that was handle the situation to make sure nobody else got hurt.
Yeah.
But from a tactic standpoint, I'm probably not. And that being said, you could just be amped and just like she was pissed. That's what I mean. You get pissed off and you say, "No, fuck it, I'm taking the fight to these
Yeah.
guys." But I'll take my badge now. Thanks for producer one. She's
God.
I watched Dr. Mike, and so I know how to do chest compressions on a conscious person with a pole. We can violate rights together. Jeez. This chat's out of control. I'm too drowsy to think right now. Lisa, I hope you feel better.
Hey, now that we've hit 1,000, can we get a moderator?
Yeah, we might need a moderator eventually. And then.
And no, Sean, it is not going to be you.
Sean, you are not allowed to be a monitor. No. Texas and Mexican food are treasures. I love having them here. Yes. Have you guys done the helicopter pilot takedown video? We did it last week. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Shout out to that guy.
Yeah.
But we'll keep going. We'll keep going.
I want you to read this comment before we watch this video.
He's unarmed. Oh my god. Bruh. Bro, did he just rack the gun?
And switched feet.
I can't even wrap my head around this. How's he gonna run? I mean, not run. But how's he gonna move? Oh, he's got like a foot control. I'm at a loss.
I'm a big.
I can't even wrap my head around that. Jeez. Sorry if I was late. It is totally fine. I appreciate you being here, Lisa. I'm writing a letter. Sean. Congratulations for 1K. Thank you. We are super pumped about 1,000 subscribers. Juan, I need a complaint form right now. You know how I feel about complaint forms. Sean, you should know better. Sean can't be the mod. I don't see what... They're complaining, they're rioting that Sean can't be the moderator. Mike the Cop. Shout out to Mike the Cop for this. I don't know what this post is, but we'll see it.
This is.
Portland.
Do you remember the crazy lady from last week?
Oh yeah.
This is an update.
This is gonna be fun.
Man, and I'm gonna pull out my and see how big it is, and I've got the biggest of them all. I've got the biggest of them all.
Are you condescending and talking down to me, man?
I'm not. I'm actually asking.
Oh, really?
Are you on a new medication at all?
No,
Okay.
I'm not.
Is there anything that's...
Who are you, Hastings?
I'm an officer of Portland Police. I'm an ECIT officer.
Oh, really?
My
And
guy.
You're really an expert.
Well, I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist or something.
No, you're not. And I'm the fucking smartest person you have ever fucking met. So get the down off of my ass. Did you go to college, Hastings? You did? What'd you study?
Social sciences.
Oh, social
And I have
sciences.
minor in
Great.
psychology.
Oh, minor. I'm a certified financial planner. I'm also an attorney of law, and I know my fucking rights.
Shabarno.
I don't fucking know that. Douche.
You don't know that?
Coming out of my vagina. That's what you are.
No, your behavior is very erratic.
And Jamie, every time I just try to have a normal conversation with you, it just goes right to insults.
Is that against the law? Is it
No,
is
but-
against the law
Can you
to
understand
insult
how-
a man in
Can you
blue?
understand how
Hey,
it's
pause
not
it
a
real
normal
quick.
conversation?
Shout out to this weight bearing vest, dude. I'm like in love.
Yeah.
Look at this guy's vest setup. He's got a little emergency administrative pouch on there. He's got a nice little flashlight set up, a Sharpie, a tourniquet. He's got his body cam on there. All his belt's got is his spare mags and his.
Probably
Bro,
gun, taser.
I'm in love right now, bro. Whoever this guy is here on screen, shout out to. Shame on you for doing the hands in the vest thing, because I'm just jealous because I didn't have an outer vest.
Yeah.
I had to do this.
Do this all the time. This is how Josh
This
and I
is-
were.
This is where we lived.
This
is our
right here.
safe-
This was me.
Our safe space. I just wanted to. I was admiring his little bearing vest.
I'm admiring his hair.
He said I'm admiring his hair. I do like Lisa's comment. She did the alternate caps in lowercase. I'm an attorney of law.
I've got the biggest dick.
Lisa, I appreciate that. Sean also, she's an attorney of law. She sounds like the Ready or Not NPC.
Oh God, you're right.
I have a Mexican maid, or whatever the hell that one chick says.
Wow.
I wish they would make her an NPC in Ready or Not. We would shoot her every time. Anyways, we'll keep going. With OC.
You guys get called shit all the time.
Why we're concerned?
And you take down the blacks, and you get fucking on video.
That's false.
Nice. So pause. Do you think you have enough for an NED yet?
No.
Why not?
What is she doing to show that she's a danger to herself?
She's standing in the roadway.
Nah. They're surrounding her.
That's true. That's true.
Not yet.
You would talk me out of it. I appreciate
She's going there.
She's going. I'm listening.
I
We're
would.
going.
She is on the road to an NED, so I'd want to make sure that she jumped in with both feet before we did that.
Notification is NED is a notification of emergency detention, which is where you're
Yeah.
taking custody of somebody because they're having an acute mental symptom that makes her a danger to herself or to the public.
She's walking down that road. I want her to be running full speed.
I got you. I bet.
Have a good day, Jamie.
I want him arrested. Face.
Have a good day.
Give me a
So
break.
if you're gonna go back over here, if you're gonna block his way or grab onto his card, you've got one or two things. You can go to jail for disorderly conduct, or you can go to the mental hospital. Which one would you like? Because those are your only two options.
You Hastings, you're going down. Your 401k or your 403b, consider a.
So if she grabbed a patrol car, I would go the
Did she
disorderly.
grab it?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Oh.
I would
well
go.
then-
I'd go the disorderly conduct route.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
would
even
go charge. Yeah, I wouldn't even go with the NED.
Yeah.
Or even if I added that as an element to it, I would sit there and go disorder.
Yeah.
What
So-
is it? Blocking an emergency vehicle?
Yeah, she stood in front of it and grabbed the push bar. I'm sure. So
Or if you're
we'll see.
feeling really cheeky, unlawful restraint.
Ooh, I want a charge that's gonna stick.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Been
true.
gone because you have no retirement. Right. You get a pension because you're an employee of.
Look at what's on his drop holster.
Oh, that's weird.
It's super weird.
The state.
You know what?
Way
It's
to
probably more
fucking
comfortable,
go.
though. I'm sure
you
it
didn't
is.
put a dime in the stock market, you fucking loser. Oh,
She sounds like fun.
The best fucking actress you've ever met, you fucker. You're going down, douchebag. Douchebag.
He's a
You're
good look with
going
it.
viral. Face. I'm a big fucking man, and I'm gonna pull out my dick and see how big it is, and I've got the biggest dick of them all. I've got big of them. I've got.
Pause it.
Oh.
Michael, you have my blessing to the question that you asked. If you're still listening, indeed. We can keep playing. And I'll answer your question, Lisa, here in a second.
Of them all. This guy's a fucking dick. Oh, the little Hastings boy who got bullied. And so then he's gonna be the big ass, or he's got a small penis, because he's a white man, and white men have small dicks. Yeah, I'm fucking racist against white people.
Shouldn't be racist against anybody.
Oh, really? Says who?
Why would you discriminate on people based on their color?
I'm discriminating against you because you're a face. Why? Why are you arresting me? I'm a big fucking man, and I'm gonna pull out my dick and see how big it is.
Okay, anyways, we don't have to listen to this lady anymore. Roy boy, you're a naughty boy, but you're probably not wrong.
Wow. That took a turn.
What's going on, Michael?
Congratulations on 1,000 subscribers.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Getting to the chat, Lisa, what happens in a mental hospital when you're taken on a notification of emergency detention is that you are evaluated by a mental health professional. This is typically a psychologist or psychiatrist, depending on what their SOPs are and where they're at. And typically, they have about 48 hours to decide some level of treatment or if some level of treatment needs to happen, and then you are released. You are there not by choice, and you don't get to leave when you want to. They have at least those 48 hours. Sometimes they get released sooner than that. I've seen people be held only for like 12. That's just depending on how lazy the psychiatrist is. And I've taken somebody within a 24-hour period twice on an NED. So it is what it is. It's the best solution society has so far right now for, honestly, what I believe is an epidemic of mental health issues that really aren't getting addressed in any way, shape, or form. Like the best example of help. Oh, I just nailed the microphone. Help that I've seen is probably like the suicide hotline. I've seen that get actually utilized a lot. And I think it's actually helped some people. I know I've done, I've kicked in actually a few doors because of calls from them. So I don't know. I don't know that there's an easy answer to that, but this is a societal issue that the government just simply cannot do better than a Band-Aid on. We can't afford to, and we can't do it. So, Kristen said hi to Michael. Michael, you're allowed to say hi back.
Yeah. What's up, baby?
Producer Juan said to turn Michael's mic up. Apparently he's quiet.
I did.
Is. It is what it is. Michael, you're just going to scream.
I turned it all the way up in Discord.
Yeah, it's this. I'm using my headset. I'm not using my phone.
I'm sorry for being spicy. I'm just Wow. Troy Boy's apparently got an interesting history on stuff. So we'll keep going. Oh yeah, don't get a steam.
Oh my God, yes.
Only on day shift though.
Yeah, there's nothing left for night shift.
Do you see this little monkey sitting in the middle here?
Here?
That's me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little guy. That's me.
Yeah, because there's gluten and dairy and all of that.
That's what I mean. Everyone else is like casually like dipping their hands into it.
You're like, I need to smash this food so my IBS blows up my butthole later.
Yeah. Actually, that's an accurate statement. I would say that exact line.
Yeah. We gotta go to the Hilton.
Now.
So
we'll keep going.
Police posts.
Shout out to police posts.
Freeze, motherfucker! Get on the ground!
Ooh.
Motherfucker, get on the ground right now! Because I'm going to shoot your ass if you don't! Get down on the fucking ground!
That backdrop.
Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. God damn it! Holy shit!
Oh my God.
115
He
Adam,
hit
shots
the officer?
fired, 1086,
I'm not
one
sure.
down, start me EMS.
Kind of
Code
looks
3.
like it.
Don't move your hands, man.
Are we gonna secure this guy or nah? This guy's got the idea. Pretty please.
It's gonna be.
He'll put his hands behind his.
Pretty pleased with the cherry on top, maybe. I wonder what he saw that made him think that this John Wick shot here was a good idea.
Maybe it wasn't the cop that shot.
Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. God damn it!
161, I'm on scene.
I want to read. Hold on.
Holy shit!
Wow.
Oh, I guess he was on. Jesus.
Keep your hands where we can see them.
So,
I don't know.
Obviously, it could have been done a little differently. The officer that did go hands-on, maybe he didn't know that the guy was armed or maybe not armed or whatever. I don't know what the call text was for the reason they approached him. But,
So the guy had a gun.
Well, yeah, they showed it afterwards, but I guess he reached for it. Oof.
That is
I don't
the
know, man.
shortest of sticks, though, man.
So I will say this. If you are the spicy boy for the call and you decide that you're going to be lethal cover, is it incumbent on everyone else to not be your backstop? Yes. However, in a situation like that, if you have somebody that's reaching to go hands-on, I would call them off, to be honest. I would yell at them to say, hey, no, he's got a gun. Or at least yell gun, something. There just wasn't a lot of communicating that happened. That's probably why it went down that way.
Well, he just thought that freeze MFer was going to work.
Was going to be enough. And it's kind of indicative, and this is kind of why we talk about training. You noticed how slow everyone was to going hands-on at that point. Like, you have a guy lying there limp, let's put handcuffs on him and get EMS there. There's like a process to it.
Look at when the female got out of the patrol car. She literally, a shooting just happened in front of her. She saw it.
Sure.
And she just gets on the radio, blah, 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 I'm on scene. It's just calm as can be. Doesn't say shots fired. Doesn't say start back up.
Well, but the other issue is like, so are we going hands-on? Are we still holding lethal on this guy? Like, there's no arrest plan being made. One of the guys does show up and he's like, hey, I got hands-on or whatever. And then they play like the hokey pokey. It's indicative of they've never thought that they would have this call before. And this is why the reaction happened that way. Now, that being said, if the guy was reaching, we can't see it on the body cam. If this guy was reaching for a gun and got shot, it is what it is. I don't have an issue with that he got shot. I have an issue with the way that it went down from a safety standpoint. That also being said, get on the ground, motherfucker. And that being the only thing that kind of leaves your mouth. If it is
you're not ready for that situation.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like there has to be a script or there has to be an approach that you're ready to kind of take in these kind of calls. I'm not even mad that he approached him that way, to be 100% honest, but like that's all that was said and you weren't really seeing anything else. Or even the other officers didn't realize, hey, I have an officer pointing a gun at somebody. What the hell am I doing? Grabbing a gun.
It wasn't great.
That's what I'm saying. If there's an officer that's pointing a gun at someone and doesn't feel comfortable enough to grab him, why am I grabbing him? If it's a suicidal subject or something like that and you've made an arrest plan, that's different. But when it's out in the world like that there really should be some training around how to approach these situations. And really communicating is the first kind of step in the right direction in these, because it avoids that I don't know that it was negligent, but the discharge that firearm right then and there could have absolutely hit the cop behind him if it didn't. To be honest, the way he was standing, it made it look like he did. So it's just I would be nervous about it.
I got a little bit of heartburn from that.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I mean it was. Oof. Hello from the other side, Sean. Good to see you, Sean. I appreciate it. Looked accidental at first. Makes sense if he had a gun. Super hard to see. Yeah, the camera, and it's kind of the issue with these like shoulder-mounted cameras. It's kind of why I prefer like the center line up where Axon and Motorola also put some kind of center line because you see a lot more. It did initially really did look like a negligent discharge. That's kind of my initial reaction to it was that. Like first shooting in the city's history. Yeah, no kidding. Because like even if it's not an officer involved shooting, like how many times we've had to make scenes on shootings, stabbings, and everything being in progress. Like you can tell. There's a lot of times you can see it in like LAPD or New York, and again the city that we work in. These fucking happen weekly. Sometimes depending on the time of year, daily. And everyone's done it so many times that there's like a process to it. Hey, let's secure this guy, and they're all concerned about securing the scene to get EMS there, and then they'll conduct their investigation, right? Or sometimes you do it simultaneously. It's just different, and it's hard to watch when you realize that it's very new to them. We had a guy in the TikTok chat that was like, "Oh yeah, we work 20 calls a night as a department," and I was like, "Oh my god, dude.
Must be nice."
I used to work 20 calls
right.
myself, you know. And, so, and everyone's and sometimes you can't make everyone reach that level of readiness, but understand that if you're a law enforcement officer in America or really anywhere, this could happen to you. This could be your call or your short stick to pull, and you just got to be ready for that. Maggie cameo. Apparently, I can't see her, but Maggie apparently made a cameo.
She's here,
especially if you're in rural areas. I mean, I think. You feel that you have that sense of security, like it's not going to happen, but then you're surrounded by everybody out in the country has guns.
Yeah.
And you're surrounded by people that they're one step away from, mental break or something going on, and now you're walking up to a house on a domestic and rounds are coming through the door.
Well, in a rural area, and I'll say this from Texas, I'm not just scared about like some gangbanger with a Glock or his high point. I'm worried about like the old like Vietnam vet that's got like 6 black tip
mortars in his
6 rounds.
backyard.
Like I'm worried about that guy because even with my plates on, I'm probably having a really bad day. Or hunters and things of that nature. It's just we have some of the more ungovernable populations in Texas, and so you kind of have like a general understanding with them that hey, I'm just trying to do my job. I will be as responsible as I can be as long as you don't come out here and shoot me in the face. And typically that works. Typically that works here in Texas. That's the agreement we have with our citizens. We'll keep going. Guy really stealing a bike here? This guy's trying to steal a bike.
He's having a little bit of an issue.
Is this a police bike? At the police station, but I wonder if it's like a.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
The officer walked up.
Yeah, he's like, nah, my dude.
Let him hang on to those bolt cutters a little too long.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, we didn't get to hear it, but I guarantee you, some grown-ass man shit was said to him. 'Cause
Yeah.
You could tell from an officer. He immediately, like a dog caught with his face in the cookie jar, he was like, "Oh, I'm good, dude.
Yeah.
I do not want that smoke." And he didn't. Fortunately for the officer, he didn't, because he did have those bolt cutters in his hand still. Producer Juan's talking shit about Waco.
Oh my god.
Don't get me started on Waco. I could imagine in rural Maine, there's probably some dudes with some serious hardware. And God bless them for it. It's their right. Just when you're in law enforcement, you got to understand. You coming out of the academy might feel like the biggest fish in the sea, but we'll take some time and I'll give you guys the story about Puffy Jacket Guy from Waffle House. And Bill was there on that call.
Yeah.
Puffy Jacket Guy was like John Wick, IRL.
Oh,
he's like an
this
urban
sounds
legend now. It'll be a story for another time. Just remember, Puffy Jacket Guy, he's a legend in my.
It'll be a Ready or Not story.
That'll be we'll do next Ready or Not session.
Yeah.
It'll be Puffy Jacket Guy story.
So
I
this
might be there
is
for that.
another view from the Houston shooting, the one where the guy crashed the car and shot at the cops. It's not great. You're not gonna like it.
Suspect is now northbound. He cracked up.
Ooh. That tap bracket ready though.
No, he accidentally dropped his mag twice.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
I saw him bracket, and I'm like, oh, okay.
So when he got out and started shooting, he I think his thumb hit the release. So he put a new mag in, didn't seat it, had to reseat it, rack it, start shooting, accidentally hits the release. Because he only gets like 7 or 8 shots off before he drops the mag.
Tell you what, though, he's putting rounds down.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit, I've gone through all 3 mags.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. He's lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to shit on this guy because he had the courage to do the job and to be there, and he stepped up to the plate and did whatever. For as long as it took him to get out of the car, and for how many times he fumbled a magazine right there, like.
Well, here, watch this.
Oh my god.
I admire the courage here, but Jesus, dude.
Car, get on the other side of the car.
I really do. I admire.
Ooh.
Let's stand where he's hit, dude.
Stop! Stop!
So, and he stole that car, I'm assuming.
Yeah, he
right?
carjacked it.
Okay.
Oh.
This is Josh right here.
Yeah, that's probably let's be honest. I'll be like, bro, that's why I have all these extra ones.
No, go train with your pistol.
Yeah, like, and again, I want to start off by saying the courage expressed by this officer who went after and went and got it. Shout out to this guy. I will say that I really do admire the heart of the lion this motherfucker had to go out there and still run this guy down after getting basically mag dumped on. He's alive because that guy didn't train, to be honest. And for as many times as he's got the red dot, he's got the flared magwell. He might even have like an Apex trigger in there, whatever it is. Clearly, he's got a pretty Guccified Glock. I had a standard Gen 4 Glock with.
Yeah, we couldn't do anything to it.
I had night sights on it. That was the upgrade we got on ours.
Yeah.
And then right before we got off patrol, we went to the Gen 5s. I still have my Gen 4 that I was issued on patrol. And the only issue I had was if I went dry, because I tended to ride the slide lock, I just wouldn't go back on empty. And that was a pretty easy issue to fix because I just reload the gun when it didn't go bang.
Yeah, I have that issue sometimes.
I probably ran thousands of dollars worth of 9mm through the very first gun I got, at the very least. And even if it's not going to the range, even if it's just simply emptying out your gun, getting on your belt, and getting used to coming out of the holster, doing your thing, and not dropping mags. It's a stressful situation. I've never been mag dumped on like that before, so I don't want to sit here and get on a high horse.
Yeah, but dry firing is free.
Well, and kind of what I'm getting at is the money was spent on the gear, not the training.
Yeah.
This is the only heartburn I have. And Houston PD is a big police department. It's a pretty huge police department. It's not the greatest in the world, but it is a big one. If you went through the trouble of buying the $300 red dot, and not to mention having to get the MOS clock, if not going after the fact and having someone mill your slide, if you're going and getting the $40, if you go to Terran Tech, it's like a $60 magwell extension. And you're going to Triarch to go get your, gun stippled and the double undercut. I get it. But if you have money for that, you should have money for training. And there's been plenty of officers that we have watched on this, and this is why I'm not trying to shit on him specifically, that have gotten into shootings without dropping a mag 3 times. That's indicative of training. That's not indicative of stress. He handled the stress portion of it actually relatively well, I think, given the circumstances. It took him a second to get out of the car. He's probably figuring out whether he was dead or not, to be honest, as much as he got shot at. So I'll forgive him for that. But whew. And to be honest, because they couldn't go and shoot him right then and there in the car, another officer got shot over that. And another person got carjacked who's lucky to be alive and not dead. I don't know, man. If you're rolling around the streets in Houston, I'd have a gun. And if you're an officer in Houston, I'd probably be really good at shooting. Or at the and it's not even just like the marksmanship aspect of it. It's just making sure that you could operate the gun in a way that it's designed to be operated. If you're slamming your mag release every time, you might as well have a revolver, because you're going to get more shots on target effectively without you opening up your cylinder or whatever. He should be dead, is really what I'm getting at. There's been officers that have done a way better job of handling a shooting that have died because a better shooter was shooting at them. And that's not the position you want to be in if you're currently doing the job. I didn't have the money, nor did I have the GOs to let me go and get all the Gucci stuff on there. But I tell you what, that completely featureless Gen 4 Glock, I'm a pretty dangerous human being.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this too. Once the suspect started running, I get it. They want to chase right after him. He's a fleeing felon, but I would almost say patrol rifle.
Sure.
Rip
Oh,
that out.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah,
1,000%.
rip that out.
Yeah. Especially if you're the two-man unit. If you're it's this exact. Bill and I have said this multiple times. We're riding two-man. If we were in a situation like that, he was pulling the rifle out if I was driving, and vice versa. Because what are you going to do there outside of get on the radio? You're not driving. You're effectively you're as useful as the overhead lights at that point. You might as well do something productive.
Yeah.
He who fires the most rounds wins. I agree with Chris here. Sean also talking shit about having a Gucci gun but can't seat the magazine. Also one of the easier things, if he was having like a Type 3 malfunction, like a double feed, and having to fix that in the middle of a gunfight, I'd be a little bit more understanding about it. But this was like multiple fuck ups. And it's the same fuck up over and over again. I'm like, bro, I mean,
which would be fixed with training.
Yep.
Like,
Boom 11, seeing the Joe Rogan's face on there and being excited. Producer Juan fucking championing the Magnum is always stupid. And then Sean saying that he only is OC because he's a better cop than all of us, apparently.
He's the best cop.
He's an OC SWAT team person.
He's OC master.
Dark Horse Lionheart, shout out to them. I haven't seen them on here.
It's a new page. They make they're trying to be like Live PD, I think. So
all right, shout out to Dark Horse Lionheart. As long as you guys aren't being douches, I'm about it.
That is really loud.
Yeah. This boys and girls are what shootings look like.
Yeah, so last night, I guess. Yeah, last night. Yesterday was the 24th, but...
So, I want to mention this. You see how this guy's lying motionless? And the first thing these guys do is go hands-on and put a handcuff on this dude? And,
that's
secure
what you're
him.
supposed to do.
Like, not like, hey, can you put your hands on your back? Like, secure him.
Yeah.
Boys and girls, that's what securing him looks like. I'm not happy about that gun chilling on the ground, but at least everyone's in handcuffs here.
Yeah.
That is someone that's worked a shooting before. That's all I want to point out. And it's not the shit on the officers that were in that other shooting there at the hospital, but like, that's what I mean by it's not your first rodeo. You've done it a handful of times, and that's why I talk as much as we talk about training and as much as we talk about all this stuff. There is a point on the graph where experience has to meet training because it's really the only way that you get this kind of stuff down consistently. And this is why attrition rate is really something that police departments need to start looking at how to fix that, and how you fix that is with providing better training and benefits and not being shits. But
respecting your people.
Sure. Well, and just creating they're already in a hostile work environment. It does not need to be hostile internally. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But, that's kind of why we talk a lot about training and experience, and that you have to have both. Those officers, that's not their first shooting, clearly. They're not over there freaking out. You don't have 18 people getting on the radio. And they all moved without saying anything because they've all done it before. Probably done it before together, to be honest. And it didn't always go out that way as far as it being perfect and smooth or whatever. And obviously this could have been edited to make it look cool. But I was very proud of, especially there were some senior officers that I worked with. We had a really good heat team on the side of town that we were on.
3 out of 4 officers were good.
3 out of 4, let's be honest. There was 3 of them, and they knew who they are. And the one who wasn't great doesn't know who he is, but he's an idiot. But the not to narrow it down any, but that's how hot calls would look like when I would consider it like our A team. When you had more senior officers and you had our heat team and stuff like that, we had really good sergeants on midnights. Most of our sergeants were good on midnights. They knew who they are. That's how it would go down. And you had officers that would go and secure the scene and handle it like it's not the first time they've ever seen someone get shot. And that's what you should want out of your police department. Same thing with domestics and stuff like that. You see people swinging on each other or fighting. You get like one verbal opportunity to stop fighting, and then people are going to start to take the, do you know what the pavement tastes like? So let me enlighten you kind of thing. Oh my God, Sean. I'm glad I read that one before I said anything. We need to find a clip for officers react. Comments on an OIS and get mad at the comments of cop handcuffing the shot person. Yeah, I think a lot of people get heartburn about that. Like when somebody's shot, like, why are you handcuffing a shot person? I'm like, well, because they were involved in a shooting means they might also have a gun. And also, like, once someone gets shot or once someone's in like a deadly force scenario, and I would agree with this with officers as well, disarming them and protecting from themselves is the most important thing that you need to be doing in that set of circumstances. And so in really good officer-involved shootings, you'll see that if they have more than like 3 or 4 people there, one of those officers will go to the involved officer and be like, hey, let's take them out of this scenario, or let's take them out of this situation, because they're clearly amped. You know what I mean? And everyone else will kind of handle the situation for them. That's how our SOPs were. It probably didn't always work out that way, but I don't know. It's that break that civilians will never understand. Is that they've never been in that situation. They've never had to go and make scene where there's shell cases everywhere and blood and a bunch of people screaming like, well, why are you handcuffing him? I don't want this random person to shoot me. That's why. Getting shot sounds really unappealing. That's why. Same thing that we were talking about it with the pursuit. Like, well, why wouldn't you go up to the car? Well, I don't want some gun to randomly come out of the mist and shoot me in the face. I'm pretty partial. If I wanted extra piercings, I would barely go get them. I don't want to sign up for them at the end of a gun. So keep going.
So this is I mean, it's a long clip for us, but it's a short clip from the podcast.
Okay.
And they talk about police posts, and then this guy goes on to talk about police killing unarmed people, and police post basically just says unarmed doesn't always mean unjustified.
Sure.
And really, if you're going to have these conversations, you can't have them with someone who has zero use of force, law enforcement experience like this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a decent clip, but
I want to listen to it. So we'll give it a listen, and then we'll discuss. We'll give it a listen.
Lightning strike rarity events are happening all the time.
Yeah.
And the media obviously thrives on that.
Well, those are the ones that are very popular, and those are the ones that people want to share. But there's a lot of those. There's a lot of ones where cops getting attacked too, and people don't seem to care about those. There's a website that I follow, a Twitter, Instagram page rather, called Police Posts. Go to Police Posts. There's one that they put up today about this guy responding to a call, and this man is at the door, and the cop is walking towards the door, and the guy's saying, "Hurry up! She's choking on her own blood." Something to that extent. Here, yeah, play this. So do it from the beginning so you can see. No, do it from the beginning because otherwise it's gonna fuck it all up. Okay, here, give me some volume. All right, here we go. So the suspect's saying, "Come on, come on! She's choking on her blood. Come on!" So the guy's walking towards the door.
Who's all in the house? Me.
So as the guy's walking towards the house.
999! I've been shot! 999!
As the guy's walking towards the house, the guy's standing in the. You can play it again. The guy's standing in the middle of the door, and he's got no shirt on, and he's saying, "Come on, she's choking on her own blood." And as he comes close, the guy just pulls out a gun and just opens fire at point blank range, and lights this cop up. This is a thing that, when you see horrible interactions between cops and civilians, you don't see too many of those. But there's a ton of those. And if you follow...
Cops see those, certainly.
Well, they're terrified. Cops... Do you know how many cops have PTSD? They every day see people get shot. Every day see people get run over by cars. Like the amount of shock
100%.
that's in their system. And then every time they pull a car over and they have tinted windows, they don't know. They don't know what's going on inside that car. They don't know who the
This is a point I tried to make during the year of the George Floyd protests and riots. People would often say, well, look at Western Europe, look at Canada, look at all of these places where they have cops, and in certain of these places the cops don't have guns. Sometimes they do. How come you're not seeing video? How come it's only in America that we're seeing videos of cops killing unarmed people, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's a serious conversation to be had about the culture of the American police being seriously flawed. At the same time, the fact that this happens in America means that policing in America is not the same as policing in the UK and other countries, right? America is a country with more guns than people. And that fact alone means that when a cop pulls over a suspect in America, as opposed to in almost any other nation, or any of other our peer nations, they have a little thought in the back of their mind that is reasonable, which says the thing he's reaching into his pocket for could be a gun. Could be a wallet, but it could be a gun. In other countries, cops don't really have to have that thought because it's always a wallet. And that's a systematic difference between policing in America and policing in other nations that makes it harder and makes it a facile comparison to simply say, why isn't this stuff happening in Western Europe?
There's that, but then there's also the history of police violence and abusive police officers in America that's different than the history of cops in any other place. And I think that has to be taken into account too, that there's an enemy perspective that a lot of people have. When they look at the cops, they think of the cops as the enemy. I don't necessarily know what it's like in Europe, but I've got to think that the polarization between cops and citizens, and a lot of it is broadcast via these cell phone videos. Like the George Floyd incident, it was a girl, a 17-year-old girl, filmed it on her cell phone. It changed the whole world because of that video. Literally changed the landscape of the way people think about racial interactions in America because of one video.
Right.
There's so many people that think of cops as the enemy because of these videos, and there's so many of these videos. If you look at the perspective that people had, my parents were hippies in the 60s, and they grew up during the civil rights movement, and they were around during marches and protests, and when Muhammad Ali refused to go to fight in Vietnam, and they stripped him of his title, and there was this understanding of the difference between the way cops treated black people versus cops treated white people, but it wasn't on YouTube. It wasn't available in your face. So that this data that you're talking about, that's disproportionate because there's so many bad ones. Even if there's millions and millions of interactions, it only takes one that becomes viral that will change people's opinions. One Eric Gardner, one George Floyd, one video that changes people's perspective on how what goes down between cops and citizens and what is wrong with the cops. This didn't exist before. And so
I'll give this guy credit because he goes on to talk about an incident that happened, I guess, in Dallas in 2017. And it was a white male who died almost the exact same way as George Floyd. They had their knee on basically his upper back, and they had him there for like 13 minutes, and he ended up dying. But it got zero coverage, zero media.
I think and before Sean has a brain aneurysm, because he's over there yelling in the comments. I hear everything you're saying, Sean. I think what's missed a lot of times when people compare us to Europe, or when people compare us to, any other country, to be 100% honest, is the population diversity. You can talk to kind of any psychologist about shared values within a community. And it was interesting because in America, especially North Texas, where we were cops, this is very diverse. There was there were pockets of communities, but in general, we all you'd be very hard pressed to go a whole day in a Walmart and not see somebody from, that's got a heritage from India, Japan, China, Russia, French. It was a taste of the rainbow pretty much everywhere you went. The problem with that is trying to create laws, trying to police, and trying to interact with people, and even people interacting with each other, that come from different educations, that come from different personal relationships. It's so much more diverse here, and that diversity, when it comes to interactions, is a bad thing. They don't know how to navigate social norms. We don't have social norms that often. And so what ends up escalating when you have people that don't know how to interact in those spaces is violence. Look at every single time you've ever had to clump two people that have very different values and culture together, you get violence. If you look at when Europe basically carved Africa into 100 million different regions, and they drew the borders kind of however they want to, that's how you had the atrocities that happened in Rwanda. Same thing in the Middle East. They go and take all of these people that are they're all Arabic, but there's a big difference in between a Shia and a Sunni and all these different groups and ethnic groups within those that have different values and have different customs. And they might all read the Quran, but they read it very differently. And we just slapped them all into one country, and just them trying to coexist. I mean, they have like Mexico cartel bad kind of relations with each other. I mean, you have the birth of ISIS, you have the birth of Al Qaeda and things of that nature out of there. America's a mega big version of that. We can't even get 2 states to agree, not to mention 2 cities to agree.
Amen to that.
So what I'm getting at is like, when a lot of people, they'll say that, well, guns are the issue here. I said, no. You can look at every single time, literally, if you've ever watched a Bruce Lee movie, this is super ignorant of me, but I watch it and I'm like, Japanese and Chinese. I'm like, there's very different cultures here, right? But while I'm watching it, I have to be told which one's the Japanese guy and which one's the Chinese, because I wouldn't know. I'm ignorant. I don't spend enough time in that culture to tell the difference between Korean, Cantonese, Chinese, and whatever. But like, it's some fighting words if you say that, Chinese martial arts is better than like literally fighting words. Like people have had their ass beat for less over just literally a disagreement. And then they're somehow shocked that we have violence in America, when you have quite literally the most diverse population on the planet. And you're allowed to be diverse. You're allowed to have to be a Satanist, and you're allowed to be Church of Christ, and you're allowed to be, trans, and you're allowed to be a lot of things in America. But you don't have to be tolerant. And I think really what and they touched on this as far as the way that the media played this, and it was played in the 60s, it's being played now, it was being played even before then, that despite that diversity, generally speaking, we tend to get along. The media figured out, well, if I can make it us versus them, though, I sell more papers. And magically you go from, 2007 or 2010, anyone that was alive at around that time, an adult and walking around, we didn't really talk a lot about like race and ethnicity. We had diversity training. Heck, half of our cartoon shows were about having like the taste of the rainbow, and everyone was a token character.
Yeah.
But now, you know what I mean? Now it's something that's at the forefront of everyone's discussion, or at the forefront of everyone's thought process. And unfortunately, police at that time, despite the fact it's not like we got worse about police misconduct. I think if you looked at documentable police misconduct, it was way worse 20 years ago.
Oh God, yeah.
You know what I mean? I remember sitting in field training, listening to an officer of 20 years talk about the things that they used to do 20 years ago.
I hear it from all the senior officers, even admin. Even admin will tell you, man.
Oh yeah. They're like,
20 years, 25 years.
Yeah, we used to beat people with radios and shit. It's like, oh my God, dude. Like, I would be in prison for less than that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so I think a lot of people fail to fully contextualize how complex the American problem is. And if we wanted to fix it, sure, go back to segregation, and we can tell quack that would be on it. And I just simply don't think that's the solution. I really think that everyone should take the onus of the level of violence that we're having. If you're part of it, if you're some kid living in the suburbs, you're not experiencing violence, this is not your problem. But when you look at all of the interest groups that are in these high crime, high violence areas, churches, schools, parents, kids, the police department, the city mayor's office, everyone needs to have that bit of control and say, hey, part of this is my fault. And if I don't do anything to fix it, it won't get better. And right now, everyone's only asking police to pay the Pied Piper. And we don't have enough money to do it. So if you don't want this asshole running off with all of your kids and a bunch of innocent victims, we all have to kind of collectively pay that tab. And if not, people will just keep dying. So if you guys have anything to add to that, you can do it. But that's my stump speech for that.
You know, it's natural though for people to. There are so many different people and organizations and groups that are to blame for the problems, but it is natural for us to find and focus all of our attention on that one, because it's basically like a common enemy.
Sure.
And that's kind of what's happening with policing right now. Law enforcement is an easy target, and until someone pops up finally and goes, you know what, this isn't just the fault of law enforcement. This is the fault of politicians and the education system. Until someone does that, we're going to continue to see the issues we're seeing.
Yeah. So I think it's important. Like I said, I think it's really important to see. If people want actual progress, like I said, the more people need to be stepping up to the plate and saying, "Hey, like, what could I do differently to fix this?" And not like just protest or not just. I work in the nonprofit industry, and I help with helping nonprofits figure out what their mission is and how to better raise money and stuff like that. And 9 times out of 10, we actually spend time educating them on their mission. It's like, I know you say you do X, Y, Z, but like, how do I prove that to somebody who's trying to donate money to you, right? You know what I mean? And that's a weird discussion to have with some people. That's the same conversation with social workers. And when you're in law enforcement, you deal with nurses, you deal with social workers, you deal with parents and shit. And so often the laundry list of what they're asking out of you is long. Really long. Go make my kid go to school. Like, the fuck? Like, did I is my name on that birth certificate? Like, no, dude. Or they'll complain about, the kid not acting right and stuff like that, and they're calling you to fix it. So I don't know. Anyways, we'll keep going. I could talk about that for hours.
This is one of the videos that I shared.
Oh, you shared this one?
Yeah. And I shared it for a reason.
How you doing, sir?
Do you have your driver's license, registration, proof,
yes, sir.
insurance?
I do have a CCW on me.
Okay. Do you have a weapon in the vehicle?
Yes, this is my CCW. It's right here.
Where's it at?
Right here.
Okay. Do me a favor, just don't reach for it, okay?
I got
just
you.
keep your hands on the wheel.
Okay.
Where are you coming from?
It's coming from my job. It's getting off. I'm about to go to my girlfriend's house.
Okay, where's your job at?
I live in Philly. I work downtown at the Rittenhouse Square.
Okay. Where are you headed?
To my girlfriend's house. She live right up the street.
Okay.
West Lawn.
Yeah, my name is Officer Gupta with the Cooper Township Police Department. A couple reasons why I pulled you over here. Number one, I can't see inside your vehicle. Your window tint is extremely dark. Number two, I can't even read your license plate. That cover, I can't read it. I was trying to call your plate out to dispatch, and I couldn't make out what it said, and I'm 10 feet behind you.
Wow.
Number three, you were going pretty fast through that school zone there. So driving at a safe speed, that's pretty important. It's a 15-mile-per-hour zone. Did you see the light flashing back there?
Going like at least 15.
Okay.
I didn't know I was going that fast. I just came out of the shopping sprint.
All right. Just make sure you got your up-to-date documents here.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I didn't know. And then my tents is really basic tent. Because I got pulled over by another cop, a state trooper. He didn't say nothing about my tents. He said they were fine.
He said
he didn't give me a ticket for it. He gave me a ticket for something else, and I wasn't even speeding either.
Okay.
I just came off the lane. He said something about my. He told me something about my ticket, the plate, and that was it. He didn't give me a ticket or nothing.
I could see the plate cover.
He didn't tell me to take
Yeah,
it
that
off.
tent
He
is
said,
not dark.
He was going to issue me a ticket
No, I
for it, but
agree.
he gave me a ticket
I can
for something off my
see
inspections, but
like
which
the
I
trees and
already
stuff through
got
it,
my
so it's
inspections
not
already.
bad.
Okay.
dark.
You've been in my truck.
Right,
That tent is not dark.
Okay, gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you, officer.
So, the reason why I shared this is obviously nothing interesting happened. The video ends there. Now, he did say at the beginning of the video that he came out of that with a warning. He didn't get a ticket.
Sure.
That is how an interaction with law enforcement on a traffic stop should go.
Sure.
Even and you saw it right there on the screen. He said that's a lie. He does not agree with what the officer said, and I mean I frankly don't either. But
we literally just said that. We're like, I don't know about the tent. But...
Yeah.
I've got dark tint. I can tell you what dark tint looks like.
Oh yeah.
That ain't it.
Yeah. That being said, at the very least, he articulated why he stopped the guy.
Yeah.
I kind of understand passenger side approach, and he was kind of staying behind the pillar.
Well, Andy was on. He was on a fairly busy road.
Sure. So
Yeah.
like,
So
I don't really have too much of an issue of how he approached it and stuff like that. The guy was really cool about it and was like, I mean, it is what it is.
And he didn't argue with him. He
Sure.
he did it the right way, and that is how interactions should go.
Sure. I will give some free advice to everybody that's out there. If you have anything covering your license plate, take it off and clean your license plate if you do not want to get pulled over. Because that is like probably license plate issues, like not having a license plate light, your license plate being too dirty to read, or having a license plate cover. Guys, the pettiest of stops, but they will stop you for
so
it.
easy.
I stop for those, but I do use some discretion in it because like my
I've never issued that citation.
I've never done a citation for it. It's been a warning every time. But if it's a clear license plate cover, it really depends. If it's during the night, you should be okay. The headlights kind of reflecting might obscure it. But during the day, if the sun hits that thing the right way, we can't read the plate. It's PC to stop.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Texas, it doesn't matter. Nothing can cover your license plate.
Yeah.
Technically, here nothing can either. But
yeah.
Sean said that everything went to shit after Harambe. I will give a 1 second moment of silence for Harambe.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Thank you for that 1 second. Because it really did go after that. That was what broke us, was Harambe.
Harambe, yeah.
Jacob, shout out. Thank you for coming in here. He said that LEOs are the face of the franchise, unfortunately. I will agree. I think as far as the government is concerned, we are the most forward-facing portion of the government, especially local government. And it's why I always tell people when they ask, well, I want to get into law enforcement, well, do you have any recommendations? I was like, a city that's pretty chill, and an agency that doesn't seem like everyone's miserable. If I could, most people I tell people not to, because you're the first person to kind of get shafted. It kind of if I had to give an example, like imagine having like a dog that was just an absolute terror. It killed everything it saw, and it was able to like break through your fence all the time. And you couldn't get rid of the dog. You can't put the dog down, but you're responsible for everything it does. How would you live your life? Because that's what it's like to police a very violent street or a very violent beat. You have literally people just doing the most ignorant, stupid stuff. They're hitting each other. They're ramming each other with cars. They're shooting at each other. They can barely have a barbecue without having an issue. And this isn't dictated by race, gender, none of that. They're just ignorant, and you can't fix ignorance.
No.
And you have a city that doesn't care. Like as far as city management, like they're more concerned about building another ballpark than they are about fixing the city that they have. Everyone's going to turn to you and be like, why is it so bad? And why aren't you doing anything to fix it? And you're like, I don't know. I can't control their brains. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. And if anything goes sideways, they don't care if you could die. They don't care if you... I've been hospitalized. I had been, scrutinized on a bunch of uses of force. I have been beat, all that kind of stuff. Within the line of duty, and never once did anyone feel bad for me. Not my administrators, nothing. But they were out there killing kids and stuff, and it was so rare it made the news, if it ever did, and nobody really cared.
And if you're in a city or a county that is relatively crime-free and safe, and everything's going well, and then you go to a town where it's not like that, it's polarizing.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's polarizing, and just seeing the level of apathy from all levels is it's astounding.
Scott Romanowski, shout out, welcome to the chat, and I'm with you that if it's a ceramic tint, maybe it's Gucci like that.
Yeah, but since he's using an aux cord to plug his iPhone into his radio, I don't think he's spending the money to get ceramic tint.
Maybe he's getting...
I'm just saying. If he spent the money that you need to put in for ceramic tint on that car, you got some priorities mixed up, buddy.
So, but my suggestion to anybody that lives in a city that has high crime rate or even a rising crime rate is, obviously, yes, broach some of the topics with law enforcement, but beyond that, but aside from just making a complaint with law enforcement and hoping that they're going to do something, go to your city council, go to the city meetings and talk about that and rally people around that.
Vote.
Yes.
Sorry. Crazy.
No, 100%. 100%.
And not just for anybody, not for who shares your
Don't
party.
don't hit the party line.
Who, whatever. Like, do some research, and then if they don't do what they say they're going to do, vote them out.
Yeah.
Complain about it on Twitter, at least something. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Care.
Please, because
Try caring too. That'd be nice.
Even in my town, the level of apathy on all levels just it kills me. It absolutely kills me.
Oh, Jacob's got some insight here. Jacob said he got pulled over for a plate cover and he was blasting NWA. So I know why I got stopped. Well, did you get a ticket though?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I got a ticket for Jacob one time. His registration was expired by a year and a half, and we're driving to school. So we used to drive to school together when we were in college, and he was running. We were both running late. Let's be honest. It's probably my fault. So I decided I was going to drop him off. So I dropped him off at class and then went to go park the car. And this campus PD looks at me like, this psychopath, like over here with like a 2013 registration in like 2014, and pulled me over. He's like, you know why I stopped you, right? I'm looking at him dead in the face like, no, dude. Like, I don't know why. He looked at the registration. He's like, it's been like 14 months. And of course, I'm operating the vehicle, so I got the ticket. And he paid for it, though. He was cool about it. But
See, we can't write them if you're not the registered owner.
Yeah, he was very cool. He did pay the ticket for me, but he used to always brag about never getting a ticket. And I'm like, bro, that's because I ate the one you should have gotten. And I had to answer for that when I did my background stuff, because it was like within 2 or 3 years of me getting hired on. So they, of course, went through. He's already in there. He's like, bro, I paid the ticket. Yes, but you didn't have to get oppressed. Vote gold, Sean. I don't know what vote gold means, but I'm all for it. And then go to local everything. Producer Juan's part of his local, like he does like Chamber of Commerce shit and stuff. So he's even as a civilian, he gets involved. Okay, what's this?
Yep.
This is a congressional candidate getting pulled over.
Get out.
This is a great one. I saw this last night. Kristen's going to be triggered. She watched this one.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, sir? I'm Sebastian, Sarasota Police Department. You're on audio and video recording. The reason for the stop, you were observed going 57 and a 40, and you were on your phone texting while you were doing that. That was at Euclid and Fruitville.
You don't need to point at me, officer.
I'm not pointing at you. I'm pointing in the direction where it was.
I'll just call the chief. How's that?
Go right ahead, sir. Can I see your license? I am, right? Yes, sir, I do. Can I see your license, registration, insurance, please?
You can do this?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
I'm sorry?
It gets worse.
Oh, it gets way worse.
Still have a job to do, sir.
Yeah, for me. What's your name?
Officer Beskin, that's
Yeah,
going to be on
for
the citation.
now.
Can I see your insurance, registration, and your license, please? Sir, can I have your paperwork, please? 7 years, sir. Can I see your registration, please? You're not going to give me your registration, sir.
You arrest me?
I'm asking you if you're going to produce me with your registration. You don't have it on you?
Look, go call the chief. Tell him how rude you've just been to me. Play with this video.
Okay.
Then you call Marlon Brown. Then you call the mayor.
Okay.
They're not okay, though. I'm telling you what to do.
Okay, sir, are you refusing to produce your registration? I'm asking you if you have your registration.
You're making career decisions.
Okay,
Why
sir.
are you doing this?
Sir, because you were speeding and you were texting.
Says who? Where's your video?
All right. Hang tight.
You're gonna have
Pause it
so
real
much
quick.
fun.
This is how they act about everything. And I'll say this, regardless of which party line you sit on, this is how they act about everything. Like, legit, like, in general, when you talk about executive orders, talk about laws that they're passing, when you talk about policies that they're putting in, when you talk about what it does not apply to them, and how butthurt they get when it has to apply to them, or when they end up in the hot seat that they put people in all the time, it blows. These are the same people that won't flinch or bat an eye when they want to shut down like a protest or whatever, for whatever OCM, run them over, trample, that could care less about what happens to them, but couldn't be inconvenienced to stop for a traffic stop, a lawful traffic stop, officers being perfectly respectful about the whole thing, and is going to now threaten their job because they couldn't follow the law. Like, I don't know. I have zero.
You're about to get so much more mad.
I'm listening.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this, so I'm already like,
oh, you're gonna get heartburn with this whole thing.
Where's this at?
Sarasota?
Yeah, Sarasota, Florida. He's a congressional candidate down in Florida.
Call the supervisor. I just spoke to your boss.
Okay.
That's not okay.
You want your paperwork?
Is it your Russian immigrant status that makes you people like this?
It's on 14.
I'm going to sit on the Russian high horse right now. Where is this?
Yeah.
14 dispatch, can you have my supervisor respond, please?
Yeah.
A couple days ago.
And then we'll see who goes.
It was Valentine's Day.
You don't want your paperwork?
6142 you don't have a warrant.
Sir, you're going to be
I'm
issued a
not interested in
citation.
Anything you have to say. I'll wait for the supervisor.
You can wait for the supervisor, but I'm going to go through what I need to go through.
No, I'm not interested.
You are going to be issued a
Where's
citation.
the registration?
Well, you've been already issued a citation for that.
For what?
For failing to produce your registration.
All
right. Sir, you're going to be issued a citation 57 and a 40 for speeding. Your fine is $256. Information in the back. You're going to have an option to plead guilty, an option to plead not guilty, and an option to take a safe driver's course. If you qualify for the course, it will reduce your fine, and it will reduce your points. If you decide to go ahead and do that, just make sure you do it prior to submission of payment.
You know what he said about you? You want to hear what he said about you?
He could say all he wants about me. I got a job to do, sir.
You know what he said about you?
If you fail to complete...
Like this.
Okay.
And he's going to have you again.
And that's fine.
He's talking about
What you said is fine.
Sir?
I'm a law-abiding citizen, and you're being bloody rude to me.
If you decide to go ahead and do the course, just make sure you do it prior to submission of payment, as they do require a certificate of completion. If you sign up for it, you must complete it. Otherwise, they will go ahead and suspend your license. You are going to be issued a citation for texting and...
Your face.
I hope his wiener doesn't work. We'll keep going.
Oh, no.
Driving.
Look at this.
Okay.
Hey, pause it
You're
one more
gonna be
time.
issued
I have never had so much in common with the super extreme left and hating an old white man than right now. Never in my entire life. I
mean, be careful now. He's an immigrant. He's a British immigrant.
I don't care where he's from.
I hate politicians, so this is like
I don't
par
like
for the
politicians
course.
in general, but
yeah, it gets better, dude.
No.
Yeah, it gets better.
It gets better. It gets way
Who
better.
picked this? Who picked this clip?
I did.
It's
Yeah, you
always
can't blame
Bill.
me.
Bill knows how to point. He knows how to poke my buttons.
Yeah, dude. Well,
He is not showcasing the campaign banner.
He's trying to film
He
her,
is.
but yeah. But so I watched this, and I wanted to hurt someone.
On case one.
Hurt someone afterwards. So I wanted you to feel my pain.
So
Guys, look at this
Kristen
guy's
and I
clipboard.
watched this. Kristen and I watched this last night. She was screaming at the TV.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd get King Petty here. I don't know that I have the emotional intelligence.
She did.
Okay.
She wrote him
Oh, yes.
3 citations.
That is true.
But
Anyways.
it gets better.
Citation for texting and driving. Your fine is $116. Information in the back. You're going to have an option to plead guilty and an option to plead not guilty. You are going to be issued a citation for failure to provide your registration upon request. Your fine is $116. Information in the back. You can plead guilty or not guilty.
You're lying.
Green paper.
Give him the citation. You're
Green
lying.
paper tells you
Why
you
are
have
you
30
lying?
days to reply.
Why are you lying?
You have 30
Why
days to
are you
reply.
lying?
Your payment options are on the green form.
Why are you lying?
Phone number on the bottom in case you have any questions. When my supervisor comes, I'll wait for him with you if you like me to. Your citations are already, you can accept them.
No, you don't.
I will wait, but I will wait in my car. There you go.
You have the bad.
Sir,
And
step
he got
back
out
into
of
your
the
car or
car.
stand on the
Oh
sidewalk
my
so you don't get
God.
hit by a vehicle. It's for your safety.
Oh my God.
Would you mind? You're going to
No.
have another unit respond. Sir, stand over there. It's for my safety and for your safety. Sir? 10-4, the driver being extremely uncooperative.
That's not what she wanted to say. That's what she had to say.
I'm proud of her for saying just that. I will say that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I want to punch this man. It's in the Discord.
Yes, Sarge.
For the video, it's going fine. Unfortunately, this isn't. We'll look at it. We'll look at it, baby.
I can't. He won't let me leave until a supervisor shows up. Martin Hyde. I just gave him 3 tickets.
Hey.
Yes. Bye.
Hey, pause
Speeding
it.
57 and a...
Do we know who this officer is?
No.
Or where she works? I want to see her shirt. If we
She
can.
works in Sarasota, Florida, police department.
Bro, I'm gonna say I would personally pay for just some merch for her because she's my hero right now.
Wait till the sergeant gets there.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is gonna piss me off more.
Yes.
Just ruin it. Oh, no.
40 texting while driving and failure to produce his registration because he told me I could look it up. And he's gonna have my job. Everything
Lisa, I
is
will
on
answer your
camera.
question here in a little bit when we're done with this video.
Alrighty. Bye.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it right now. I think I found the
You're not
single
paying.
biggest
You're not
productivity
paying
hack
for
of
ads.
2021. It's this Google Chrome extension.
Get out of here, Google him.
Juan's gonna get mad now.
I do not know why all dispatchers
Are you
sound the
still
same.
waiting for a
That's a good idea.
supervisor or are you leaving?
They do.
Okay. Very good.
By the way, he's a friend of mine.
I'm sorry?
Cool.
That's nice.
Okay.
That's very, very nice.
You know Pat Robertson, right?
Yes, I do, sir.
Why are you doing it?
Because I have a job to do, sir. Nobody's above the law.
No one's above the law. You have to have some degree of respect for law-abiding.
That degree of respect started the moment I walked up to your car, sir.
You knew exactly what you were doing and you made a mistake.
If
I
that
wouldn't
is
say
your
anything to
feeling,
him.
you are more than welcome to
I
fight
wouldn't
the
be talking
citations
to him
in
at
court.
this point.
No, no.
Okay.
Fight your employer.
Okay.
I'd just be telling him to get out of the road.
You're
That's it.
more than, you're an influential person.
Very.
You could go ahead and do that.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Why not just say you're sorry?
Because I did nothing wrong, sir. I was doing my job, but I am going to ask you either to sit in your car or step on the sidewalk because I don't want either one of us getting hit. Okay. Sir, I have nothing more to say to you, sir. You requested my supervisor. You can have the conversation with them now.
I don't know how better to be a professional about this. You did a great job.
And this is the backup officer. I don't think he's the sergeant.
Sarge Frangione is on his way.
Oh, never mind.
Speeding 57 and a 40. Texting.
He is a sergeant, but he just showed up.
Oh, so this is not his?
This is not his friend, the sergeant. This is another sergeant.
Oh, okay.
So,
While driving, failed to produce his registration when I asked. He told me I could look it up.
Okay. You know who he is,
Yes.
right? Yeah, you might identify him.
Yes.
Okay. So you're just gonna stay by to cite him, or is that what?
He already got cited.
Oh, he has already.
Yeah.
Citation. So you just.
From the moment I
Within
woke
her
up.
authority to do.
So you're just waiting for.
He's waiting for supervisor, and I guess he spoke to Frangione, so Frangione is on his way.
Okay.
Bobby just pulled up.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Hyde. I guess you talked to Sergeant Frangione by the phone?
I did, yeah.
Okay, he's on his way. She requested another unit, so that's what
How do you
another
give
unit.
someone a ticket for no registration when they've got their registration?
Did you produce it?
She's trying to make her spurs, but it's a big mistake.
Well, this one is the expired one, but...
Well, it doesn't make it. Take
Oh, and it's expired.
We're going to
Get
make
out
sure
of
that
here.
she pays the price for being disrespectful. And I just wanted you to witness and know that the registration was right there, and she deliberately chose to write the ticket. She came up, she said the first... Look, there's a video of it, so be quiet. There's a video of what you said.
There is.
And I've got a video of what you said. Right? What she said was, I don't have it. She immediately said, I write your citation. She went right back. She never said anything. She went straight back. I denied the citation. She's straight back, right the citation. I've lived here for 25 years. I've represented your unit. I've got no interest in listening to you, young lady.
I was talking to my sergeant. Sergeant, if you don't mind if we could step over off the road onto the sidewalk.
Yeah, just a second, officer.
Come on,
Yeah, Mr. Hyde, like I said, you know...
I've represented you guys in the union discussions. My son is a cop. I'm friends with everybody in the police department. This is the first time anybody has been disrespectful to me.
If I'm making you listen to this, not to listen to
I could care less. If they were going to write me a ticket, I could care less. I just pay the bloody thing. You don't think I got the money? It's the manner and the nature of it.
Okay. And like I said, Sergeant Fangione will be over here to talk to you about her interaction.
Kristen, I'm with you. He's becoming punchable.
Outrageous.
Yeah, she screamed.
Why? I mean, of all the people to do it to.
Yeah, I understand, sir. And, you know, I set you, you know, I've been
my
with
sergeants would have had words.
Negotiations with you, and I understand where you're
With him.
coming from.
I don't ask for special treatment, but I don't expect to get treated like a punk.
Can we skip through some of this?
Nope.
This is...
You gotta hear what he says.
You gotta come along for the ride, bud.
How
Let me go
long
talk
is
to her and see.
Well, it's a waste of time. She's got
Got
to
about
get
5
I know
minutes
exactly
left.
who she is. Frangione told me exactly who she is. That's fine. 7 years might not turn into 8.
You know who angry cops.
Yeah.
Rich High. He needs to be needed to be the supervisor to deal with him.
Go back to the station and dock my camera.
He'd have gone drill sergeant.
No. He'll review it if he needs to review it. He can stop
Because
it.
Sarge was already
Shout
telling
out
me
to
do
angry
that.
cops.
He just didn't know that this is who he was.
Oh, okay.
So, but I couldn't leave until somebody was here, so just let me know what you need me to do.
Is Sergeant Frangione coming on his way here? Is that
Yes.
He is.
Yes, he told me he was.
I just wait for him to get here and then.
Oh my God, Sean.
Well, let me give him a call real quick because that might help matters.
What's DDoS? Hey, you're gonna get us on a watch list. Chill, dude.
Stay in your car.
I'm about it, but I can't condone it.
You can go to the station. Yep, go to the station. Hey, Martin. Yeah, I have to leave it on.
Alright, so here's the thing. She lied about the cell phone thing.
Okay.
She lied about the speed. I could care less. You can give me the ticket all day long. I could care less about that. And then I gave her the registration. And she's
Get the
registration.
fucking
She goes off. She writes me a ticket. She brings me back a citation. I said, there it is.
Okay.
And she still gives me it.
Okay. All right.
She's being fun. And the thing is, I appreciate that. I back you guys left, right, and centre.
I understand that. I do. I
don't want your backing.
I do know that.
Don't expect
Yeah.
better treatment, but I don't expect
You
worse
back
treatment.
somebody else.
If that's how you treat people, that's unacceptable.
I understand. I understand your frustration.
And I can get the video and I can play it to
I'm
the
going.
mayor. I understand that, but you know the thing is, I don't take kindly. She knew exactly, because I said to her, right away, I said, and she's like, yeah, I know. Straight away, writing the tickets. Why?
Well, she's a traffic officer.
Yeah,
That's what we do. But I understand.
I understand that's what she do.
Yeah.
It's not what you do, and you know it.
Listen, she has a job to do. I'm not. Listen, I'm
Not
gonna
that
look
way.
at the. I'm gonna look at the video. I understand your concerns. I'm gonna look at the video. I notified everybody in the chain of command right now. That's what I was doing. That's why I was not coming here. I thought you were gonna meet me at the station, but it's not a big deal. She's going right now to dock her video. Right now, she's going to dock the video. And if there's problems, you will be the first to know.
Well,
and
I know there's problems. The difference is, I'll do something about it.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, I'm going to take your complaint, is what I'm doing. That's the first step.
How can you write a ticket for no registration when you've got the registration? I mean, as if
No,
I got a
you have to
$150,000 car.
I hope
I've lived here for 20.
Did you hear what he said?
Why can't the DWI go and kill him right after this?
Did you hear what he said?
What did he say?
He said, I drive a $150,000 car with key scratches all over the handle, a missing mirror cover, and a big old dent in the back. So
5 years and I don't register a car. Why do that?
I understand what you're saying.
Well, you tell me what the point is.
It's just a state statute that she enforces. She's not the only traffic officer that
Would you
writes.
give a ticket for that?
I really don't leave the office.
Especially,
I understand what you're
My
saying.
man.
Video on there.
I love the supervisor's honesty though. There,
I don't leave my office, my guy.
No.
I understand what
I
you're
do
saying,
respect that.
and you producing it, she probably should have taken that ticket away. But I'm going to find out what exactly occurred. And
Because she had a bee in a bonnet because she thought she was on a big power trip. Guess what? She's been there.
Oh, she was on a big power trip. Okay.
that's the. What's the phrase?
I'll get going on.
She ain't.
All right, listen. That's your prerogative. I want to get
This
started.
is not right, Andy.
Okay, I understand.
You don't treat people that have treated and supported your partner like that.
I understand where you're coming from. I do.
Bare minimum of respect is yes sir, no sir. Not a word of it. Straight up. Talking to me like I'm a piece of dirt. Get back in your car. Which is this? She's standing. She's got a car door open, and I'm leaning against here talking to someone. Okay. So, in case
He's
you
just
get hit by
thinking of
traffic.
more stuff
Just being
to
difficult.
lie about.
Okay?
Great.
Just being cocky.
I do understand where you're coming from.
You know who I
It's
am.
a bad interaction.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a
definitely,
great
it
white
definitely seemed like it was.
How difficult is it to come to me and say, you're doing 57, give us your license and your registration? Why get into...
What? Did she not say that?
When she knew exactly who she was talking to. If that's how... No wonder you got people shooting people in Newtown if that's how you talk to people.
Wow.
All right, Martin, I'll talk to you later.
Wow.
I would have watched her video footage on scene because you can do that with the Axon app. Shout out to Axon.
we could watch ours too. Ours was just like a cell phone.
Yeah.
He said that's why people are shooting cops, because I got a ticket because I'm a politician, and that means that everyone should, I guess, give me a blowy instead of writing a ticket.
Yeah,
so he did have to come out and apologize because he caught so much heat over that video.
I don't want an apology at that point. Like, how do you apologize for being like a shit person?
Well, you got to try and save your campaign somehow.
There should be no saving that campaign.
Where is he running?
Florida.
For House of Representatives.
Who's he running against?
I don't know.
I'm gonna buy a shirt from whoever. I don't even care if I agree with them politically, just to keep that little cunt nugget out of the damn. That drives me so. And he's not the only one. I don't want to sit there and just steamroll just him, because he's not the only one. However, like, his attitude around that, like, I don't know. I have a bunch of not nice stuff that I'm gonna say that's gonna sit there and get us canned or something, or I'm gonna put me on a watch list. I just like, he's an oxygen thief, to be honest. I don't care if he apologized. He felt like that was an appropriate thing to say or do or to act like. And if he's acting like that over a traffic ticket,
from a traffic officer.
That's what I mean.
It's literally her job.
Like legit, I had guys that drove like stupid nice cars. Would be fucking hauling ass, doing stupid stuff. You'd pull them over, and they'd be like, "Yeah, dude, just give me the citation."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Cool." He doesn't like the cops, but he's like, "Yeah, man, just, it is what it is, man."
Yeah.
And typically, I'd give him a warning anyways, because I don't like writing tickets. But I'd be like, "Hey, man, whatever."
I don't want to go to court.
Exactly.
You don't want to go to court.
Exactly. Okay, let me read this real quick. I'm gonna keep trying to keep up with the chat here.
Juan's keeping up with the chat.
Okay, there's Juan's taking. Okay, Juan, you keep up with it because
Juan's doing fine.
They're beating me with these videos that I want to. My suicidality is coming back.
Oh god.
Well, we're gonna watch one more and then we're gonna call it.
Okay.
Because we've been going for 2.5 hours.
Okay, we'll go. Dodge Neon. Shout out to the Dodge Neon.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna say this to YouTube. Shout out to Josh's sanity right now.
It's about to be
holding
gone.
on. It's holding on. Both hands.
Hey, stay in the vehicle, guys. Stay in the vehicle. You're being pulled over. You guys are being pulled over. Nope, hold on. You guys got to get back in the vehicle. Well, they're going to be on in a second. You guys pulled over too quickly. You're being pulled over for speed, so.
It's too late. No, it's too late. You didn't have your lights on me. You just waited.
We'll take a second on emergent. Hold up, guys. You're not free to go.
Yo, don't
Hold
put
up.
your hands on
You're not
me.
free to go.
Don't put your
You're
hands
not free
on
to go.
me. Stop. Don't do that.
You're going to go in handcuffs if. Back there. You're not free to go. Hold up. You're being pulled over.
Why are you grabbing
You're not being
me?
pulled over.
You're
Put your hands behind your back.
For what?
Hands
For
behind your back.
what?
Hands behind your back.
For what? Tell me what I did wrong and I will stop.
Stop resisting.
I love those.
Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Stop.
To keep you from getting motion sickness, help respectful. Pause it real quick. A traffic stop has now turned into assaulting a peace officer, resisting arrest at this point. Because, there's a lot. There's a lot going on here.
A lot of ignorance. I laughed at that line. Hug yourself. Decentralization. That's creative writing right there.
We're inside Walgreens.
How did I get pulled over with no lights on? Do you see how much force you just used on a 135-pound girl? You put your knee in my back, and I couldn't breathe.
Everyone's detained right now.
Ain't nobody being detained, though. What the am I doing
wrong? We're inside Walgreens.
It wasn't even my car. I was in the back seat, yo. Back seat. You didn't even turn your lights on. By law, my nigga, you gotta turn your lights on and flick it.
Can we pause it real quick? If you believe, even though it's misguided and whatever, and you don't know what you're talking about, yelling at an officer because you disagree with how they did it is not going to get you very far. That's just free advice.
Get you in handcuffs?
You will get free handcuffs. But, like...
Maybe she's into that.
I don't know. It just frustrates me because there's so many times where, again, people will talk about de-escalation. De-escalation is very important. But, like, on the civilian side of things, you're kind of responsible for de-escalation. And this should have been de-escalated already, and she's continuing to... They're lucky she's not spitting, to be 100%. When she craned her neck around like that, I was like, oh, he's going to get spit on. I was like, damn it. Or get kicked.
Almost killed me the same way you f***ing killed Floyd. You put your knee in my back. I said I couldn't breathe.
1, 2, 3. Let's go. You're under arrest at this point.
For
Quit resisting.
For what? Why am I under arrest? What the f did I do? What did I do?
We made a traffic stop on you. You were told to get back in the vehicle.
We were going to Walgreens. I had them take me to f***ing Walgreens.
Can pause it real quick? She's going to yell like this for the next 2 hours. Probably.
At least.
We're only going to see 12 minutes of this. Jacob, he did a ride-along with me, and he got to listen to yelling like this for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We'll keep going, so I don't have to subject myself to this.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Protect and serve.
Like you guys need anybody else?
For what? No one has weapons, so why is there so many officers surrounding me like I'm
Probably
dangerous?
3 inside, 3 officers inside.
How? Why?
I'll give you a clue.
Why am I being arrested?
Are there any more people?
So no officer's gonna tell me why I'm I'm being arrested?
For vehicle occupants.
Why am I being arrested?
They all got out, started walking everywhere.
Why am I being arrested?
3 of them are inside.
Why am I being arrested?
You're arrested at this point.
Pause it real quick.
In the vehicle.
Even if they say it, they're gonna explain it here, and this is a weird thing that like people won't understand because they haven't like experienced this.
Yeah.
No matter how many explanations you give, she's gonna keep yelling.
Yeah. And
About
she
whatever it
continue
is.
to ask why.
Yeah, it'll be this big circle, and honestly, a lot of times, I guess if you really want to look at the psychology of this, like she's fully amped, like she's in full fight or flight, so like the critical thinking part of her brain's really not working. So maybe when
You think
she's
she
calm,
has a critical thinking part?
I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. I'm with you though, but
Jesus.
yeah, I don't know, dude. You know what's crazy? Despite her behavior, I'm still mad at the last video, like 10,000 times.
Oh, hell yeah.
Only because
you're welcome.
She probably doesn't know better. But
Well,
I'm still
and we've
way
all
mad.
dealt with her level of ignorance.
Saying she doesn't know better is, I don't buy that.
No. I'm not saying, I'm not excusing her behavior. She's an idiot. I'm just saying, like, given the way that she's been like kind of brainwashed via the propaganda of the media, she was gonna react to law enforcement this way no matter what the interaction was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Even if they had stayed in the car and they were only talking to the driver, she'd have probably been in that back seat just screaming and yelling at him.
Yeah.
So.
I was going to Walgreens like I told them to take me to.
Producer Juan, I love your comment.
I didn't do anything wrong. I had no. I barely have clothes on.
Juan.
You put your knee in my back. For what? For what? You took the air out of my chest. For what? You guys are supposed to be officers. You're supposed to help people.
What is your name?
You don't do shit.
Get her pieces.
For the love of God.
Get her pieces.
On video. What y'all talking about?
I try to make the same
Y'all kill
argument.
people
My
with the kind of restraints you just put on me, and I'm not talking to you about him.
84, could you run a Prina Rodriguez, unknown date of birth?
Oh, I wonder if the audio runs through the act.
So what happened
like
was,
if it gives a recording of the radio?
Speeding, they're going 38 and 25. They immediately pulled.
No, they're not. None of them are wearing earpieces. But yeah, actually, now I'm looking at it, probably.
It looks like they got like a hand.
Immediately got out, so I got out right away. I told, hey guys, you guys are being pulled over. Stay in the vehicle.
You should have turned the light.
Cotto flipped on his lights.
Clearly.
The two females started walking away,
solved the problem.
I grabbed on both of them, and the female in the white.
Producer Juan.
She kept on walking away, so I put her in an escort hold and tried walking her back, and she kept walking into the store. And then she physically pulled away, and then they all started surrounding us. I decentralized her. Took me a while to get.
You know what though? I've had more
and then
ignorance happen at CVS than Walgreens.
From being decentralized.
To be honest with you.
And then
I've had both. It's
because more people go to CVS because Walgreens sucks.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and you guys got here.
They got expired tags too.
Yes. Oh, and yeah, when he ran the plate right before we were able to get out, expired tags. So there was two. Let's pull around the corner here, and then we can give her a sig bond.
Yeah, shout out to La Crosse PD for dealing with this crap all the time.
I asked the question.
So, Aprina, what we're gonna do is we're gonna issue your.
What?
No, I was just gonna say that. I was like, given all the nonsense that happened,
I think we've watched enough of this.
Yeah.
Well, so what they do is they drive her around the block. They print off a citation, and it's a signature bond, so it's an unsecured bond. So they have her sign that she's going to appear in court, and they let her go.
Get out, for real?
Yeah, they do. And they let her go back to the car, and she's screaming and yelling the whole time, but they let her go.
I would have taken her to jail on principle.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Well, the other problem, too, is like when somebody's amped up like that, like, I guarantee you there's probably a domestic call that comes out afterwards. And like,
yep. Yeah.
It is what it is. Signature bonds are stupid. I have never heard of that before.
So, we
feel
can't
like
do
lightning.
that. A magistrate has to do that in North Carolina. We do unsecured bonds, which are signature bonds, but you have to take them before the magistrate first, testify to the charges, and by that point they're usually calmed down because they know if they do anything in the magistrate's office, they're getting contempt of court.
Yeah,
They're
I don't
definitely
know.
going to jail.
People are wild. Thank God, no more screaming. Yeah, I have really lost my patience for that now that.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
out.
welcome,
Maybe,
Boom.
man,
I have a headache too.
I used to be really good. Like I really did have a pretty deep bucket for bullshit.
You did,
and I've had people. Jacob has seen it firsthand.
You did.
And some other people have seen it. I had a very, very deep well of a bucket for bullshit, and it's real shallow now. I realized I filled it all up. That's probably why I left. But, oh yeah, we've been going for a hot minute. I appreciate everyone that's here. Kristen, Sean's 2.0 account here. Boom, of course. Boom, you were not first. Sean beat you. Producer Juan, Lisa, seeing you again. I really hope somebody answered your question more here. There's a bunch of chat nonsense going on here. Roy Boy was here somewhere. I remember reading him down here. Jacob, as always, my supporter. Scott Ramanowski, trying to defend the ceramic tint usage.
Screaming special episode.
There's Roy Boy. Chris, as always. Chris has been he's been on all of this stuff recently. Thank you, Chris, for being here. And I don't think I missed anybody. I think it's everybody. So thank you guys for going here. Like I said, we go live twice a week. We just cracked 1,000, so we're halfway there to our goal of having both 1,000 subscribers on YouTube and 50,000 followers on TikTok. And then we're going to be doing a merch giveaway. So that'll be cool. We have some stuff down the pipeline we're going to be working at. Michael will be in studio next week. So
yes, I will.
To that. So he, depending on how this all works out, he might make this Thursday podcast live here with me. So we're going to give you guys a heads up for all that stuff. And like I said, we're still doing our Ready or Not Let's Plays. That's going to be on Tuesday. And we're still going to go live twice a week until something changes. I think we have some stuff. Producer Juan in the comments, if you can illuminate us on what's on the docket. He edits them. So I don't know what's going to come out. Ukrainian question. Really, really quick. I was the 101st subscriber. Thank you, Sean. Boo. Wow. Double the Sean. Jesus.
Sounds like the intro to the movie.
Yeah, so as that really does. So as far as Ukraine is concerned, I'll try to give the shortest version of it that I can get. And it is that Ukraine sits in the very unenvious position that nobody has enough to lose to help them. And Russia has too much to gain to not take that heat check and take that land. Really, nobody in the EU, as much as they give heartburn about it, are willing to pay the tab to make it unappealing for Russia to invade and take over, which is obviously they've already done. And as far as American involvement, we don't have a dog in the fight. I'd be surprised to see anything more than just aid really get sent to Ukraine.
Yeah.
I'm currently honestly more worried about China, if I was going to be 100% honest, as far as Taiwan is concerned.
You mean the 9 airplanes that flew into their airspace today?
Oh yeah. I'd be much more concerned about World War III coming out of that, simply because there's now a strategic loss on America when it comes to the Pacific Ocean, and so that because you got to think Taiwan would also give them a foothold to start going after stuff like Guam and these less populated areas.
The only way we deal with Russia is if they get to Poland.
Sure.
Now, I will say this. There is a Ukrainian pilot that has shot down multiple helicopters, jet pilot, and he's literally feared by the Russians right now.
Hey, shout out to him. He'll probably die in like 3 days, but yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I think they call him the Ghost of Kiev or Ghost of Ukraine or something like that.
So shout out to that guy. Sean's arguing with himself right now in the chat. Thank you, Sean, for always providing us with the A++ comments.
That's impressive.
As well.
That's very impressive, actually.
But like I said, that kind of my 2 cents on that is like I said, I just don't see geopolitically how we have a dog or even anything to gain from really getting U.S. troops involved in Ukraine. So unfortunately, it's kind of as much as I hate the phrase, it is what it is. In that's why no one has really stepped up to help them. Poland, it was another example of that in World War II, where Poland probably suffered more than most countries, and it was mostly because, nobody had really much to gain by helping them, unfortunately. And so, all that being said, is kind of why I push for, sovereignty when it comes to certain things. I believe states should have a certain level of sovereignty from the federal government, and I think that citizens should have a certain level of sovereignty from local government, to be honest. It's kind of the whole principle and purpose of concepts like the Second Amendment, but also, I guarantee we're going to have a lot less complaints about military spending probably in the next couple of years, regardless of who's in office. And I just think we should keep our eyes open to what we're really doing. I think energy independence is probably a conversation we'll start having more often. Economic independence from places like China and places like, become a producer. There's a lot of easy stuff that politicians talk about all the time, but nothing ever really gets done for it. So, I think
not in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we see the level of politicians that are clearly getting into office.
Sure. So, anyways, we got. I think it's a hard, really shitty situation, and I hate that. I think it's fucked up that Russia went in and did that, but you can't control shit people. I don't think it's anything against the Russian people. It's just that's their politics. Again, America is not a shit racist place. We have a bunch of shit racist politicians, to be honest, and news anchors and celebrities and stuff like that. Most people aren't bad. Most people aren't violent. Most people aren't ignorant. Unless you're going to a CVS and trying to get stopped by a crossbreed, I guess. Or I guess you're running for Congress in Florida, maybe. But I think I don't know. I think it's a shitty, complicated situation. I think we're very lucky and blessed to be here in America, where our problems are considerably smaller. But I feel for them, and I think I don't want to sit there and my tinfoil hat's tall enough as it is, but I don't want to sit there and say that World War III is coming. But if you looked at the red flags for stuff like that starting to kick off, that's a pretty big first step towards it. And NATO's going to be a little bit more behind the scenes for that, but as far as like the continental United States, good luck. To anyone that's watching, if this happens to be getting watched by the Russian whatever trolls or whatever, or the Chinese, good luck, motherfucker. That's kind of my 2 cents to that. I wouldn't want to bite off that. But again, last time it happened, it didn't work out very well for the people that did it. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. Bye, Lisa. I appreciate you being here. Most people everywhere will go to work, go home, their families, watch some TV. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, it's, bro, the amount of violence that happens in our own backyard that doesn't affect our day-to-day, like, it is.
Yeah.
Again, Mexico happens to work, and they got whole ass devil-worshipping cartels out there, like massacring people by the 18-wheelers load, and like legit of like groups of civilians that could probably take on countries. It's the cartel. Like, let's be honest. And they're a stone's throw away from Texas, and we somehow sleep perfectly fine. So it is what it is, unfortunately. And we are NATO. Sean's 100% right. Like,
yeah.
I'm saying NATO as far as the German, French, and British assets, because they have more of a dog in that fight than we do, to be honest. But and even as close as they are, it's still not big enough for them to intervene. They're going to sit there and be like, we're going to do a sanction. And like, oh, cool. You're still going to pay Russia billions of dollars for natural gas, so you're going to sanction them and still pay them $3 billion. I think it's a pretty shit threat.
Yeah.
So it is, like I said, we might make like a separate video just for that. I don't know that we have too much to add to that conversation that correspondents and analysts have. Thank you, Bill, again, for always producing this. Thank you, Michael, for stopping by. I'll get with you probably tomorrow about our next week's adventures when we could get a lot of film with Michael.
Well, so, I wanted to pop in and say, congrats for the 1,000 subscribers.
Hell yeah.
It's been, it's a long time coming.
Michael became a Patreon member when we were at like 300.
And I think I'd been watching you guys since
we were like sub 100 maybe.
Because I think the first video I ever saw from y'all was like June or July.
When I saw the casting couch?
Sure, on the casting.
Yeah, on the
Oh,
casting
on
couch.
The casting couch. Yeah.
Yeah.
We still.
But I didn't subscribe until like August, I think.
He wanted to make sure we were gonna stick around and keep making good content.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyways, thank you guys for helping us reach 1,000. That's a huge milestone for us. Like I said, we're still doing all of this at a pretty humongous deficit. Just ask producer Juan.
Yeah.
But we're getting there to making this a lot more viable, so we can start to provide stuff. We want to start providing stuff like we're going to start making training templates. It's kind of down the road, but it's kind of what's been on our radar. That we want to start offering stuff like that. We're going to start looking to getting this to be count for credits on people's certifications and things of that nature. There's big talks about doing like really cool IFAKs that we give, basically pre-done IFAKs, a bunch of life-saving material. We're thinking about possibly, it's a big possibility. Don't hold us to this, but we might try to get an emergency medicine class and get 3 North Texas officers to get to go. We'll pay for them to go and then actually give them some life-saving equipment, because there's a lot of police departments that don't teach that. So there's some stuff that we have in the pipeline. We're really trying to give back to our community. It's important to us, but just know that when you guys are supporting our channel, we are supporting that. And we're going live and trying to be entertaining at the same time. We're trying not to have a brain aneurysm where that fucking Congress wannabe motherfucker was giving that lady a hard time. I'm still mad about that. I'm going to have like a violent dream of killing him with my bare hands.
Well, I just want to go ahead and say, for the record, I saw that video last night, and I thought for a second, this would be a good Only Cops breakdown video, but I was
even
like,
thinking
you know what?
that, you son of a bitch.
Right. No, listen. But I was like, you know what? I'm not going to subject them to that. Here comes Bill over here.
Yeah, Bill's pretty merciless. So I probably said something disparaging about Maggie once, and he still remembers. So
I always remember.
He says that the North remembers. So, anyways, thank everybody for stopping by. Thank you for riding like 18 man with us today. We had a lot of people in the chat today, so I appreciate it.
2 Seans at once.
And 2 Seans at once.
I bet they were sitting on each other's laps.
100%. Fantasy come true. Thank you guys for doing that. I appreciate it. And stick around for our next lives and our next uploads. So until next time, peace.
See y'all next week.
Okay. Oh, I need a beer. I don't even drink. Jesus.